his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
That was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
Welcome to the Staying on Topic podcast. Welcome to the Staying on Topic podcast. My name is Ruben.
I'm big.
My name is John.
And if you couldn't tell by one of the intros,
One of them.
we recorded multiple intros because we were really scared. Hopefully the one that we wanted to use is the one that we did.
Yeah.
If we didn't, if we ever have a Patreon, it'll be our Patreon exclusive
Yes.
intro for that video.
Yep.
We worked hard for it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it took us a few minutes to get that right. Anywho, we're gonna be talking about the Royal Rumble 2025. It was last night at the time of this recording. And overall, I was sports entertained.
Yes.
I was very sports entertained. I had a decent time.
It was decently fun. It was good.
I will say this. I watched it twice. Once just like casually, like with friends and
To
stuff.
experience it.
Yeah, to experience, and then the second time was like to actually like critique it. Because sometimes you watch something and you're like you're on the high of like, oh man, that was really fun. And the environment,
bias.
in the environment and stuff like that. So I was like, let me watch it one more time, and I'll actually take notes. So I have notes. So
Yes.
but yeah, we'll get into that shortly because while it was like weirdly a short show, it's a Rumble, so there's that naturally a little bit more to talk about because 30 entrants, there's 2 of them, that's 60 people. Like, there's gonna be more to talk about.
Plus the mid shows and
and all that. But I guess before we get into any of that, just a general catch up. I haven't seen you guys in like a week. Well, I see John all the time, but I haven't seen you in a while, Vic.
That is true.
I'm busy.
Yeah, you guys doing anything exciting? Anything fun?
Busy doing what?
Work.
I guess that's busy.
That's busy.
Yeah.
This guy got me playing Smite 2 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, well.
You guys liking it though?
Well, I love it as much as I did Smite.
Like it when we like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it when we don't like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Having a good time, you like it. Having a bad time, you don't like it. I don't know if any of you out there read those stupid books, but my wife got me into that Fourth Wing series. It's pretty good.
The Book Talk?
No.
It wasn't Book Talk?
No.
Book Talk's crazy. I see like Book Talk all the time.
She's trying to also make me read it, which
Yeah.
I'm getting close to just
It's a fantasy book. I mean, it's pretty good. It's really good story. I mean, now that we're talking about books, but yeah, it was fun. But that's all I've been doing. Been reading books, playing Smite.
Yep, that's about it.
That's pretty much it. Working.
Yeah, I've been telling Vic I've been doing a whole lot of nothing. Because even like when I like get home at a reasonable time, I've been so tired lately that I take naps, and by the time I wake up from my naps, it's like basically the time I would have gotten home, like if I just had worked all day.
Yeah.
So I feel like I didn't do anything, or like that. It basically feels like I worked, even though I was like resting. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, other than that, I guess I was kind of just prepping for the Royal Rumble, watching the shows, Raw, SmackDown, stuff like that. I pretty much, I feel like the only thing I actually like actively watch, like in terms of like shows and stuff, is like wrestling. Probably because I just, I enjoy it. It's a thing that I
Probably what you enjoy the most, right?
Yeah, it's probably, I would say that. That and I feel like it's such a commitment to like start other stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I know Squid Game season 2 came out, but it's like I haven't watched season 1. I got to commit to that, and that's gonna take me a while.
I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't got the time for that, dude. Who has time these days?
I will convince them to watch it.
I'm not saying I'll never watch it. I'm just saying I got to find the right time to watch it.
No, we'll watch it. We'll watch it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll watch it.
Hey, man.
Maybe we'll watch it and put it on Patreon.
Oh, we could do that.
Our non-existent Patreon.
No, it is right.
We will have one eventually.
Once we have it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Look, all we're saying
there's
is
a Patreon.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing on it, but there's a Patreon.
Yeah.
It's an empty plate right now. Hey, if you want to get our Patreon, you can get our
Go
Patreon.
to Patreon and just subscribe for free. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Our Patreon's like a buffet, but if they ran out of food.
No, I get the whole like watching wrestling. Like you don't have to commit to it, right? You just watch it when you watch it. It's fun. It's not fun. It's okay, cool. I missed it last week. I'm gonna watch it this week, and that's it. You watch like what AEW, TNT,
Yeah.
TNA,
TNA.
AT&T.
TNT.
Yeah.
Different. The
TNA, yeah,
different channel.
different channel. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, wrestling. I think wrestling. I would say consume. Like, maybe, I don't know if consume is the right word because I feel like consume in this context would be like a negative thing, but it's definitely the thing that I gravitate to the most in terms of like television, in terms of like what I want to watch. I'm pretty sure it's the only reason I still even consider like having like cable in general, even though Raw moved to Netflix recently. Which at this point, if you are like even wanting to watch wrestling and you have Netflix, you might as well just watch it Raw.
Yeah,
because it's on Netflix now. Like you might as well just start watching it. Like, I mean, I said my piece on that last week when I was talking about wrestling. Then,
I've been catching it recently, getting back into it. It's fun. It's fun again. I told you, used to watch a long time ago, and I don't know, it's been pretty enjoyable. I've been having some fun.
Cool. I'm just a casual watcher. I watch them when these goons are watching it.
yeah. But more importantly, big news coming out of Vic. He subscribed to Botchamania.
Yeah, that
earlier today.
That literally.
Oh yeah.
Because last week while we were waiting to do the podcast for last week, we just had a lot of free downtime.
So we just watched.
Yeah, we had the little TV monitor that we have to like show our recordings and stuff. And John had to do something inside, and he took quite a while. It was like almost 2 hours, and I was like, "Well, what are we gonna do to kill this free time?" And we had just finished. We had finished watching the Pokemon regional.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Okay, the finals is done. We knew, but now we have like all this time left, and we didn't know when he was gonna come back. He didn't tell us.
Yeah.
So we were like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" And I was like,
"We'll watch this while we're waiting."
Yeah, I was like, "Hey Vic, you want to watch this thing? It's called Botchamania."
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah, and he's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Well, it's just like a compilation of like fails that happen like in wrestling, like over a 2-week period. This guy Matthew, he just like compiles it all, and he just makes a video out of it, and it's great.
Genius.
Yeah, so I think Vic,
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Vic watched I think like 8 episodes while we were waiting.
So good.
Yeah, and now he's subscribed, and it makes me happy because again, it's one of those things where it's like it's wrestling, but it's not really. But like if it helps somebody get into it, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah. And then if I don't understand something from like whatever they're doing, I'll ask this guy, and he's like, "Oh, well, this happened because of this," and I'm like, "That's funny."
Except the one that you asked me like recently, it was like a weird thing, and like it was about a ticket, and like Chris Jericho's just like on his knees, and he's like he has his ticket, and he's like, "I have a ticket." And he was like, "What's the story behind it?" I was like, "I don't remember, dude." Like, I was like, "I think he got banned from the arena, and he like bought a ticket to get back in or something." That sounds about right. Sounds like something Chris Jericho would do. But yeah, Botchamania.
Botchamania.
Shout out to Botchamania, Matthew, all the people that work on that. You guys are doing good stuff. Good on you.
You got another subscriber.
Yeah, 2 new subscribers because we were using our friends.
I used to subscribe Chris to it.
Yeah, we used our
really?
friend, yeah, we used John's son's account, and then we subscribed for him. So you got 2 new subscribers.
That's funny.
Yeah. And if he's watching this, he just found out. So
yep. Hey, you subscribed.
Anywho, I guess with that, since we didn't really have that much to update, we'll just go straight into the Royal of Rumbles.
Yeah. Yes.
Only a 4-match card. Granted, the Rumbles took like an hour each.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, ish. You know. Still, it's long. Like you. I think while you're watching it, you don't realize that it's that long, and then like they say like how long somebody's been in there, and it's like wow, it's been that long.
We thought it was 7 hours.
Yeah, because
from what it said, we thought.
Actually, you know what? Before I even start anything, I cannot, like, no disrespect, I cannot wait for WWE to be done with this Peacock deal. Because it is atrocious that you cannot just start from the beginning, like when you're watching a live event, and you can't back up or rewind to the beginning because they won't let you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so annoying.
We barely... So, just to give context to people who don't know, we watched it separately from Ruben.
Yeah.
Because he watched it,
I had a friend, or my cousin and our friend, the people that I went to like the TNA and events and stuff like from the past week, they wanted to do a thing, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I was just like, as long as these guys watch it, I don't really care.
So he gave us his Peacock. We watched it
with consent.
Even though funny message I sent them back, but because you told us like, hey, once it ends, it'll replay it.
Yeah.
Right.
But and I was under
the
impression it was going to end at when the show ended. But WWE's been doing this thing where they count the post show as the main show, and y'all need to stop that.
It went 9:30. I'm cooking, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, the sandwiches are almost done, and y'all are like,
it's still live.
still on until 10 o'clock. And I was like, okay, cool, I got time. So I sat with my wife. We talked for a little bit and went back to living room. Oh, it's 10:30. Still on. What's going on?
It's still live.
Yep.
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're
I
good.
legitimately
fine.
thought because
We-
like they used to do that. They used to
Yeah.
be like, hey, here's the show, like the pre-show, the main show, and then like the post-show.
Mhm.
The post-show used to be like relegated to like YouTube and like
Ah.
stuff like that. They would just put it like it's not a big deal. It's just
We
a little
click
press
back.
conference.
So we kick back. We did manage to go back far enough to at least watch the men's Royal Rumble
Yes.
from the beginning. So we managed to watch it from that
Penta
beginning.
and Rey Mysterio were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
First
are,
two.
the first two, and then we managed to watch it from then. And then earlier of today, of the time of this recording, I watched
The
from
rest.
the rest of it from the beginning. Watched the women's, the tag team. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
but-
we'll
Yeah,
get into
we'll
our-
get into it. But
we'll review.
yeah, like it was.
Yeah, I can't. Like I said, I cannot wait for them to get like. I can't wait for like Netflix just to own it all.
I was gonna say,
Because
yeah.
Net-
Once
Net-
Netflix
Net-
has it, it'll,
Because
yeah.
Netflix has that where you can start from the beginning with Raw, and it is awesome. Like
even if they're like 10 minutes.
yeah,
in or
even if
whatever.
it's like even if it's just about to end, you can start from the beginning,
Oh,
and that's
okay.
great.
That's
Like,
that's a not to brag on Peacock, but that's a dumb feature to not.
Yeah,
include.
you think they would
They do think they would.
like, especially when it's like that long, like because
Yeah.
like especially and another thing is like it seems like the pay-per-views are starting earlier and earlier, like especially like these big ones like this, like technically the pre-show like to start watching the event, it started at 3. And it, like if you're like me or John, we were at work, like we had stuff
Yep.
to do, so it's like
I didn't know it started at 3. So at 10, when my son said, "Hey, it shows that it's been on for 7 hours and 10 minutes," I was like, "It started at 3 in the afternoon." Like what?
I'm gonna be honest, we almost didn't watch it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
we were like, you know
not-
what? Well, then
No,
we'll just
that's-
catch it tomorrow.
we're
Like,
not-
you
yeah,
know,
honestly,
yeah.
I wouldn't have blamed y'all if y'all did that.
But
like-
yeah,
we got done and it was like almost 12, right?
yeah.
I was like, "Do you want to watch the women's?" And you're like, "Nah." Or
And it's
Chris was like, "Nah, let's just wait." Yeah,
let's not. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's my little gripe with Peacock right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I've said this out loud. Once they leave the Peacock, I'm unsubscribing.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that's worth watching on there is like The Office and Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And I don't care enough. Like
Yeah.
at that point, I'll just buy a box set
And just own it.
just own it.
Yeah.
Outright.
Yeah.
And the only reason I don't mind using the Peacock is, just because WWE has its own tab. If they didn't have their own tab and I had to search for anything like the rest of Peacock, I wouldn't use it. I don't like using it.
Yeah, it's times like these where I miss the WWE Network.
Yeah,
The WWE Network was so
Yeah.
easy to use. Like
you pay a fee, it's there.
yeah, and you could it was so easy to like navigate it and just watch stuff. We had it good, and then Vince was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do the WWE Network anymore. We'll just give it all to Peacock." And I'm like, "Okay."
I'm
Whatever.
going to Netflix. All right.
Anyway, that's my little gripe with Peacock. So I think to open the show, I didn't actually watch the opening, but from what I heard, Stephanie McMahon opened the show, and
Yeah.
she had her little spiel that she's back, which is cool.
Yeah.
No, she's one of those people that like, I feel like doesn't get enough recognition because I think everybody like looks at her husband as like the creative genius, but there's a lot of stuff that Stephanie did to kind of like bolster up, and I hope that the actions of her father don't tamper her legacy and
Yeah.
like the things that she's done.
The sins of the
That's-
father should not go on to her just because
Yes.
they share the same last name.
Yes. But I am glad she's back. I think she will be a great asset to WWE, TKO, stuff like that. But to kick things off was the Women's Royal Rumble. The two people who started was Io Sky and Liv Morgan. And they started. It was perfectly fine. I'm gonna be real honest. I think Royal Rumbles are cool, but in terms of like being like super super great, they're not like that. Like I think they're fun to watch. And a lot of people like watching them for the specific like who's gonna come out. Kind of like the surprise
I
stuff.
go, ooh,
Um,
yeah.
And I will say that like the women's had a lot more not call ups, but like more like there was a lot of more. I don't think the men's had any NXT people. It was like and then like the women's had like 5.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I think that it's one of two things, right? It's a testament to how good the NXT women's roster is to where they can bring up a bunch of people and
Yeah.
like people might know them. But I also think it's a testament to how not great the NXT men's division is. Or maybe you can also make the argument
not
it's like
wanting to
maybe
bring 'em
the
over.
main roster men's division is too stacked that they don't feel the need that they need to have somebody from NXT show up.
Right.
That's true.
It
Yeah.
different sides of the same coin.
Could also be
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So anyway, Yeah, so Io and Liv started off, and then Roxanne Perez comes in at number 3. Roxanne Perez has now set the record for longest woman in a Royal Rumble match at 1 hour and 7 minutes.
That's true. She was
there
1
for
hour,
a
lasted
7
until the end, right?
Yeah, 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 47 seconds. Just beating Liv Morgan at 1 hour and 7 minutes flat, which is crazy that it was actually that close.
I forgot she got that many people out. Jesus.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Anyway, I did write. Roxanne had a good showing. I really like Roxanne. I think she's really good. I would probably say she's main roster bound now. I think she's done most of what she can do in NXT. Because you can only be in developmental for so long before you've kind of done everything. That's what like any wrestling company. You're there, you do everything. Eventually, you got to go and do something else. Whether it's at a different company, you get caught up, stuff like that. So Roxanne, very good, showing. I think she has another match though in NXT. She has a few. She'll probably wrap up whatever she's doing in NXT and then get call up, which I would love to see. I don't know where she'd be ending up. She'll probably go to God, who needs it? Probably Raw. Anyway, we got number 4 was Lyra Valkyria, and man, did she get shafted? This was the thing I think I was the most upset about. Lyra Valkyria is your inaugural WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. She was the second person eliminated, and she took the brunt of most people's moves, like big moves. She also had a wardrobe malfunction, but I'm not going to blame her for that. That's that was a thing that you can't control that, or maybe you can. I don't know. But it's it is what it is. How long did she lasted 16 minutes. That's
I was
also
gonna say she lasted 16 minutes because she got eliminated by Ivy, right?
yeah. Ivy
Ivy
now.
didn't come out until further down the list.
Yeah, she came out at number 7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Damn.
I guess I'll talk about it now. I feel like the women's roster on the main roster, if you're not like the big people like Rhea Ripley
Yeah.
or the person who would eventually win the match,
Yeah.
if you're not them, you kind of get left on the wayside. And I will say this though, Lyra came out at number 4. Chelsea Green comes at number 5. She was the inaugural United States Women's Champion.
Yeah.
And their presentations are so different. Like it seems like with Chelsea they care a little bit,
Yeah.
but they don't for Lyra, which is crazy. Like I like them both. I probably would lean more to Chelsea, but that's just because I like her gimmick. It's really fun and funny.
Didn't Chelsea she got eliminated faster than Lyra did though?
Did she?
Yeah, she got.
No, she lasted.
She was the 9th person eliminated. She came out 5th. So about the same.
Well,
About
Chelsea
4.
Green was number 5. She
16 minutes.
that's
18 minutes.
that's Lyra. She lasted 26 minutes.
26 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Just in case anybody's wondering, we have the stats pulled up because
Yeah, pull it up.
WWE has left.
Yeah.
But John's eyesight's also not that great. So,
Yeah.
so
That's
Very, very true. Don't
both
wear
of
glasses.
those are
yeah.
true statements.
Yeah.
Yes.
two things can be true at the same time.
I don't have the time. I was going by numbers and how trying to do math in my head doesn't work. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not a fan of how I feel like Lyra's been treated. Because she was also supposed to have the inaugural championship match on the Netflix debut, and then they pushed that to the next week, which I also thought was like, what the heck? It's the crowning of a new champion. Maybe you want to have that on your first show for Netflix, which is like supposed to be a big deal, and they just didn't, and they got pushed to the next week, and then it felt like nobody cared, And again, there's a ton of people on this. There's 30 women that went into that Royal Rumble. It felt like maybe 5 of them mattered a little bit. Maybe that's me being a little too harsh. Like I'm sure I can 10 of them maybe, but like a lot of these early ones are kind of just like okay, like filler maybe. So you get to the end, which granted you can make the argument the men's it got to that point too. Like
Some of the men seem like filler.
Yeah,
Some
again we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's fine.
But anyway, we're not gonna harp on this too much. So yeah, Chelsea Green comes out. I did write Chelsea Green salute to the sign that was pretty funny.
Oh.
She does like a little because her whole thing, ever since she became United States Women's Champion,
Oh.
her whole thing is like
Yeah.
she's so patriotic even though she's Canadian.
No. Mhm.
So like she enters, she does her thing, she goes to the ring post and she like salutes and then points at the sign. And I was like, that's great. I don't know why. It's so stupid, but like I really enjoyed it.
She taunted in the middle of the match.
Okay, so Chelsea Green comes in, and then I didn't write a note again until Bianca came in because, again, this is going back to the thing. We have B-Fab at 6, Ivy Nile at 7, Zoe Stark at 8, and Lash Legend at 9. So it was kind of, no offense, a lot of fodder of like, hey, we need bodies to fill.
Yeah.
No offense to those people, but like, they're not really telling any stories with these people. They kind of do just feel like bodies. And like, again, that's not on them. That's on the people in charge of making stories for them. You know, I don't want to say I'm blaming Triple H or anything. I'm just
They don't
saying,
have great writers.
yeah, they and you would think now that they have these mid-card belts, you would want to tell stories, but I don't know. It feels like they just wanted to do it. I would love to be proven wrong.
Yes, please prove us wrong.
Anyway, those people showed up. Lash Legend. I will say this. I think she's the second person from NXT that got called up. Not called up, but like was entered.
Yeah.
She did have a good showing. She's huge. Like she is giant.
Yeah.
Like she is a giant lady. In terms of tallness. That's all I really have to say. Other than that, like I didn't hate anything she do, but she didn't like wow me. Other than just being really tall and strong. Then Bianca comes in. And Bianca, I believe, does this really fun spot. Yeah, I wrote it down. Yeah, Bianca does this like really fun punching spot in the corner, where like she would punch people and then she would do a flip.
Yeah.
She would punch them again and then do another flip. And then there's like I think 4 people she did that to.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is fun. like I said, there's things in the Rumble that could be silly, and then there's things that could be enjoyable. And that was like the thing. I was like, oh, that's fun. This is like a fun thing to do. And then I think at this point, what happens? So sometime in between that, Lyra, I wrote down Lyra deserves better. Took too many spots and was the second eliminated. So that was me just airing my grievances as I was watching it, which I will stand by all day. Okay, and then after that we got Shayna Baszler, Bailey, Sonya Deville. Again, these are just people.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are just people. Besides Bailey, and you know what's crazy? Shayna Baszler, she was a monster in NXT. And then Bailey, she was. She won the she won the Royal Rumble last year. I lost my train of thought for a second, but yeah, she won the Royal Rumble last year, and I feel like they did stuff, and then like she lost steam a little bit, and then like it feels like just haven't been able to do anything of much. And I don't want to sound so harsh, but like it's one of those things where it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Well, I think that's hilarious because during that match, there was a point where Bailey was meeting every single person, every single new like wrestler that was coming up, and just getting shit rocked.
Yeah. Well, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to make the other people look good.
I was like,
when they come in.
Poor Bailey.
Yeah,
they're doing her dirty.
Yeah. So anyway, Bailey comes in. Sonya Deville comes in after her. And then all of Pure Fusion Collective is there, and they do their whole like, we're a faction spot. Start throwing people out, stuff like that. And then Maxine Dupree comes in, and I will say this: we were watching Botchamania. Like I said, we were watching Botchamania. Maxine Dupree was in there a lot. She has gotten better since then. She didn't have much to do. She pretty much entered, did her thing, and then got eliminated. But she looked good when she did the thing that she was supposed to do.
Which was Maxine again?
She was the one who did the reverse worm.
Yes, that one did come to mind.
That's always been my thing. If you give her easy things to do, like that sounds bad too. But like if you give her the stuff like that she can do well at, because the problem with her, like why she was on Botchamania sometimes, is that they were just throwing her out there and like hoping she would get better, and it's like you can't do that. Yeah. Like I get getting like reps in and stuff. You need to do that. Being in front of like a large audience, to get used to that, you got to do that. But she wasn't ready. I think she looks a lot more ready now than she did like a year ago. Especially because one of the Botchamanias we did watch was from the Rumble, and
yeah. Does she have like a connection to Otis?
Yeah, she's a part of Alpha Academy.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Anyway, yeah, she does her little spot. She does a little reverse worm. She eliminates Ivy Nile, and then immediately gets eliminated by Pure Fusion Collective. Yeah, so I wrote down Maxine Dupree, nice short showing, which I think encapsulates exactly what it was. It was a nice short showing. She wasn't in there very long, but what she did was pretty good. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
A minute and 20. It was a good minute and 20 for her.
Oh yeah, that was a minute and 20, wasn't it? Oh my god.
Anyway, so Naomi comes out. I think she does her stuff with Bianca Belair because they're tag champs at the moment. Jada Parker, NXT person, comes in. And then Piper Niven comes in, starts doing stuff with Chelsea Green. Because again, one of Chelsea's things right now, she's like super important United States champion.
They were the ladies in green, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Piper comes in and she's supposed to be like her head of security.
Yeah.
And she's like calling her, and Piper Niven running down the ramp, being like, "I'm coming!" Like, man, I love Piper. She's great. She's one of the people I wish would get pushed more because I think she has a lot to offer. She just doesn't. Like I said, we're trying to get through this, but like, because like I'm gonna be real. Like I said, a lot of the women's like, especially this beginning half is a lot of just whatever. It's people we gotta fill bodies. Like literally, the person to come after Piper was Natalia, and I think let's see, Natalia has been in WWE for almost 20 years. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she hasn't done much.
Wow.
I was like, I think she's had like 2 championships in those 20 years. I think maybe tag championships here or there. She hadn't done much, but she is very reliable.
Well, that's what
and
happens,
I think that's why
right?
they keep her around.
That's what happens with like most wrestlers, right? Guys and girls. You have your fillers that are they're just good enough, or they just get pushed enough to like.
I think
all the spots and that's
Natalia
it.
would. I feel like I'd push her more if she just knew how to talk a little bit better. I feel like when she talks, she sounds very.
That's true. That matters as well. Yeah.
Very like. What's the word I'm looking for? Not like.
Not charismatic, but like.
Yeah, I guess not charismatic, or like. I guess it's stale. I don't know. I really don't know how to put it. Like I don't believe her when she says stuff. But I get why they keep her around, because I will say this: even though she's not the greatest talker, she's probably one of the best actual wrestlers that they have. In terms of like somebody who's just reliable, you could put them in there with anybody, and she'll probably get like a good showing out of them. And that's Natalia. And then after Natalia, we got the debuting Jordynne Grace. Her TNA contract is now up. It ended last week. Whenever TNA Genesis was, I think that was the Saturday before last.
So is that what they're doing now? Just bringing?
Yeah, it's. We'll get to that, I guess.
Okay, yeah. That's fine.
But yeah, Jordan. Well, I meant in terms of the men.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan.
That's,
yeah, Jordynne Grace. For people who don't watch NXT, she was doing stuff in NXT. They were doing crossover stuff between NXT and TNA, and when I felt like that was always the plan, right? It was like let's get some of these TNA people on NXT and get them exposed, and then eventually when their contracts run up, we'll just take them. That's why I'm not exactly super thrilled about this NXT TNA partnership. That's I don't know how long, because I felt like that's just what it was going to be. It was just going to be like, hey, we have this great partnership. Look at all these TNA guys. They're coming to the WWE. It's pretty cool. When your contracts expire, that's great. You want to come here when it's over? And I would love to be proven wrong, but I probably won't. Anyway, what did I write about Jordynne Grace? Oh yeah, I wrote like a big synopsis for her. Let's see. I love Jordynne Grace. Also very strong and looked good in the match. Should have won. Naomi's spot with Bianca is interesting. Yeah, they did a whole thing, because Naomi, when she had left WWE at one point because she felt like she was being untreated, not treated well. So her and Sasha Banks left. She goes to TNA and she has a pretty decent feud with Jordynne Grace. And in the Rumble, they do like a nice little hug spot, being like, "Hey, remember when we were doing stuff in TNA?" And then Bianca Belair like gets jealous about that. She like shoves off Jordan from Naomi, but then they like don't bring it up again in the match. I'm not saying they have to bring it up again in the match, but it's like I don't know what that's going to lead to.
Right.
So for all I know, you just did it to do it. I hope it leads to something. I don't know what it would lead to. Because right now they're the tag champions, and I feel like in terms of like the main title picture, it's kind of just it's filled at the moment. So it's like they're not going to do anything with that. But like, I don't know what you would do. I don't know. I don't have to make those decisions. All right, and then after that we get Michin again, just fodder. Like, sorry, like, and then we had a returning Alexa Bliss. She's been gone. I don't even remember how long it's been. I think it's been since like 2023.
I think I remember you talking about that.
sometime in
It's been a little
2023. She's been gone a while. She had
No, I remember when she came out and it was showing like the stats at the bottom. It's like you haven't been seen since like December or something of 2023. And I'm like,
Her entrance was long. She took forever to get to the ring.
but because they have to. She's been gone for so long. They got to give her the grandiose, like, hey, look at me, I'm back. Like, and to be fair, I popped way harder for this than Charlotte coming out. Like this, Like this was one of those things where it's like I think people were reporting that she was going to be back, but like I didn't believe it.
You didn't
until
believe
I
it
saw
until you saw it. Yeah.
Okay. So little tidbit here is when she came out, I for a second I thought, is she cosplaying as Bernice
Who?
from Zenless Zone? It's like the like the company that makes Genshin Impact.
Oh yeah.
There's a character
Yeah.
that wears the exact same
The exact
outfit,
same outfit.
same hairstyle, and I'm like, dang, does she have flamethrowers? I don't play the game.
Yeah. No, but her outfit was in tribute to the Fiend Bray Wyatt, who sadly has passed away.
Mm.
I thought that was very classy. It also made sense because that was like the last thing she was doing before she was gone. So it only made sense to do that. If she had come back as I think as just some random jabroni, like it wouldn't have been. I think. Well, I don't know. I think the people would have been just as okay, but I think it means a little bit more that
Like
she
an
did
homage.
it. Yeah, it's like a nice little homage. It's been 2 years since his last match. Because his last match was actually at the Royal Rumble in 2023 in San Antonio. I was there. I got to see Bray Wyatt's last match. It wasn't good. Like, no, I don't want to speak ill. And we're back from that cut. Hopefully it was good. I didn't do it. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss. Yes.
All right. So what did I write? I did write something. Oh yeah, I wrote down. Yeah. So I was so glad to be she was so glad for her to be back. And then I also wrote down because I thought it was really stupid that Cole even like made this commentary. But I wrote. I basically wrote down the commentary of what happened. It's like, this is Michael Cole. I thought she wasn't coming back. The internet said she wasn't coming back. Wade Barrett, stop reading the dirt sheets, Michael Cole. And I was like, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that little meta fourth wall breaking thing. It's like, stop reading the dirt sheets, dude. We are the dirt sheets now. No, we're not the dirt sheets. We don't get resources and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, Alexa Bliss comes out, and then Zelina Vega comes out to a response.
Yes.
Some people, this is mostly the next like two. Yeah, Zelina Vega comes out to a response. It's fine. Candice LeRae comes out. It was fine. That again, that's pretty much most of the stuff. It's like it wasn't too exciting, but there's nothing really to gripe about their stuff. It's
Like, they're here.
yeah, they come out, they do their thing, and then they just we wait until the next person. And the next person to come out would be Stephanie Vaquer. I don't really actually know how to say it. I feel like I've heard it multiple times.
Backer. I don't know.
It's VAQUUER. She's
Vac.
Chilean. Yeah, she's Chilean, so I'm assuming it's Vaquer.
Back here.
Kid.
Probably.
Back here.
Anyway, again, another NXT person making their thing, their debut in the Royal Rumble. The only thing I wrote
Nice.
down for her is she's gorgeous. That's it. That's all I had to write. She had a good showing. I'm not saying like that was the only thing, but like, she's a very nice looking lady. That's all I will say. After that, we got Raquel Rodriguez coming out to save Liv Morgan. Again, just I couldn't tell you a thing that she did other than she came out and probably looked strong and stuff like that. And then we get
Skip over.
No.
You skipped over someone?
oh shoot, I did. I skipped over Trish Stratus.
When they showed her out, when they played the music and showed her, I was like, "What the heck is she doing here?" I didn't.
She wrestles every now and
I
then.
got
She wrestles.
I was like, "Dang, she old."
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know. She had a little extended thing that she had done with Becky Lynch for like 3 months, where she was actually having matches. She could still go. I don't know, like at the rate. I don't think at like the rate. She is. People. People now.
She looked like she was okay, but she looked a little slower.
I think she just likes being a parent. I think she'd rather just be a parent and
Yeah.
like do the stuff she's doing now instead of just being on the road multiple times a week. Which respect. But yeah, I completely. I think I was too focused on Stephanie Vaquer. I just immediately.
That's funny.
Let me just gloss over Trish Stratus real quick.
Is
And then I saw the
that-
disappointing Raquel, and I was like, oh.
Uh,
Anyway, after Trish and Raquel, we get to the person who is making their return after a long time away, over a year, and the eventual winner of the Royal Rumble, Charlotte Flair.
Yep. When she came out, I was like, "What's all the hullabaloo for?" And pyrotechnics and all this stuff. And then I thought to myself, "Who's Charlotte Flair?" And it took me a second to like, "Oh, Flair, ha ha ha." Why she? Because I was thinking like, why she dressed like Ric Flair? And then it was like, "Oh, you're kind of dumb, John."
Yeah.
I don't.
so-
I don't know many other women
John
wrestlers.
can't put
Yeah,
two
yeah.
and two together.
Yeah.
To be fair, I also didn't put it together until like halfway through. I'm like, oh yeah.
But yeah, Charlotte Flair comes out to pomp and circumstance. Everybody cheering, everybody but me because I didn't want her there. I have not missed her in her
Nice.
in her year or so, year and some change away. I've never been the biggest Charlotte fan. The Charlotte Flan.
You can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it over a year?
It's like
Because it was like
it was December of 2023. So yes, it's technically over a year, but like it's not.
It's like that much over. A year.
Yeah, it's not that much over a year. It's like a year. It's like a year and a month. You know, like I think Alexa Bliss was out longer than that. Like,
Oh, I had the dates.
Yeah.
I had the dates.
anywho, yeah, she comes out and she takes forever to get to the ring. First off,
Yeah.
she has pyro. They are making her look like the winner of the thing, which she eventually would be.
Wow. Foreshadowing.
Yeah,
is the
foreshadowing,
thing.
right? And she's at number 27, which I don't quote me, but I believe that is the most winningest number in the Royal Rumble.
Winniness.
Yeah, it's the one that people win the most at.
Most have.
Um,
Makes sense.
but yeah, she comes out again, the pop and circumstance, and I could not care less. You know, she takes forever to get to the ring, and I don't want to. I get why people like her, and I get why she. I wouldn't criticize her work. She's obviously good at wrestling. You know, I think her character work is decent. I just don't like that they have this over reliance on her and people that are at the top, because that was a very Vince thing to do. It was a very like, hey, well, ratings are down, or like, oh, this thing sucks. Well, what? Let's put the title on Charlotte. Like, and there's a reason she's the 14-time world champion. It's just for one, it's just easier to put the title on her, and then two, they have this weird fascination with she needs to like either tie or beat her dad in terms of number of world championships they won, because Ric Flair's at 16, and like I said, I think Charlotte's at 14, and it's one of those things where I was like, I don't care. I don't actually think anybody cares, because like I don't think there's going to be any other woman for a long time that's even going to come close to 14 ever. Like even some of the biggest stars that are out there right now, I think they have like 2 max.
Yeah.
Like no one's ever going to touch that echelon of title reigns. It's also one of those things where it's like, man, you won the title 14 times. That means you lost it 14 times. You are a loser. Like, I don't think multiple title reigns is this thing that we should be praising, because especially in terms of wrestling, that means you lost it 14 times.
That's what I was gonna say. I never liked the 15-time world champion. Why have you lost it 14 times? I mean, you shouldn't have to win the same belt.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, oh, I've had this belt for seven championships. What?
Yeah, look at Roman Reigns. Was it 1,316 days? That was one reign. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Granted, it wasn't great the entire time, but it was great for most of it.
It was good. It was good for
Yeah, so when I hear like 14 times and shit, they wanted to get to that echelon of 16. It's like, I don't care.
yeah.
Like, I don't actually know if anybody really cares. But anyway, she comes in, she does her stuff, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, the next person comes out, Julia, NXT Women's Champion. A lot of NXT people, like I said, I think there's 5.
Yeah.
But obviously you should have, if there's a spot open for your NXT Women's Champion, you should probably put them in there, make them look good. Because eventually, 9 times out of 10, the person who's the champion is going to get called up eventually. So you're going to have them get into some scraps with the people out there. Did I write anything on Julia? Oh yeah, I wrote that she looks important. And before that, I wrote, I still don't care about Charlotte Flair.
That's hilarious.
I forgot to mention that.
You were right. 27 and 30, both four times apiece. People have won 27 and 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the most.
They really like that number. I don't know why. Anyway, let's see what. Okay, so yeah, Julia looks important. What she did, they made her look really good. She was the one to eliminate Jordynne Grace, which I wasn't okay with, because in my notes I was like, I really hope Jordynne Grace isn't going to NXT, because I don't think Jordynne Grace needs to go to NXT. I think Jordynne Grace is a star. She was TNA Women's Champion
Yeah.
for a decent amount of time. I think she's a 3-time TNA Knockouts champion. I don't think she needs to go to the NXT. I think you put her on the main roster, and she's just a star. She had a really impressive showing.
Yeah.
And it's her second time having a really impressive showing in front of giant crowds like that.
If you're upper level in one organization, and I mean, you shouldn't be downgraded to like the lesser organization of the main one you're getting switched to. It's like kind of messed up.
Yeah, I think Jordynne Grace should just put her on the main roster. I don't think she needs to go to NXT. because NXT at the end of the day, it is developmental. It's a lot of people like learning how to do, getting ready for TV. And Jordan, she has TV experience. She knows what it's like to cut promos and be a champion at that top level. She doesn't need to spend time in NXT. So when she gets eliminated by Julia and they kind of like have this little face-to-face thing, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want her to go to NXT. Like, I don't think she needs to go to NXT. Or I'll tell you what, you can put her in NXT, but have her face Julia, have her lose, and then immediately have her go back to the main roster. Just have her go to the main roster. You can do your little, if you want to have your little Julia thing, have your little Julia thing. But I don't want her to be in NXT forever. Like, I don't want her to spend like more than like a few months in NXT.
Yeah.
I think Jordynne Grace is main roster ready, and I hope that they just have her on the main roster because I would not like to see her in NXT. That's just me. Granted, the main roster has, again, this is going back to the problem. It's like, would she just get lost in the shuffle because they're not doing much with their NXT, or they're not doing much with their main roster stuff?
Yeah.
Would she just get lost in the
Who's to say
shuffle?
They're gonna do something with the
Whereas
NXT?
like if she goes to NXT where they take more care of their women's division, like she would probably be treated better, but like I don't think she needs to be there. Now if she wants to be there, that's a different story.
Yeah, let her go and let her beat
Yeah.
Julia.
But anyway, after Julia comes in, Nia Jax, who had a very impressive showing.
Yeah.
She eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
9.
6, 7, 8, 9 people.
9 people.
And I think 5 of those were at one time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which I did make a note of that spot because I actually thought that spot was creative.
Yeah.
Where it's basically just everybody like.
Oh, on
Well, actually,
one side of the ring.
Yeah. Well, before that, I wrote down obligatory bully Nia spot where everybody gangs up on her, and then she like hulks out. Which I get that they have to do that, but it's also really funny, like because it's the same thing. It's like, oh, it's all bully Nia, and then she goes, and then like just beats up everybody, and then after that they do the fun dangling spot where everybody's like over the top rope and they're just kind of just hanging there, and I was like, oh, that's creative. I don't think I've ever seen that, or I can't remember ever seeing that. That's just a fun little thing.
That
to
many
do
people at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Nia comes in and just like beats up everybody, and she drops like 5. That's where she gets like most of these.
Yeah.
She eliminates, I think it's Bianca, Naomi, Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky, and Raquel Rodriguez all in that span of time.
Yeah.
Before that, she eliminates Zelina Vega and Trish Stratus. Cool. And then number 30, I actually did not expect this person at number 30.
To come in or
To come in. I guess like, what's the word? Selfishly, I wanted it to be like Becky Lynch. Just because I like Becky Lynch. I've been Team Becky when the company wasn't. They didn't want to get behind Becky.
Oh.
Because they were behind Charlotte. And I think that's another reason why I have so much resentment against Charlotte. It's because it was one of those things. Everybody wanted Becky, but they're like, now here's Charlotte again. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm so over it. But it was not Becky Lynch. Wasn't even AJ Lee, CM Punk's husband. It was Nikki Bella, who lasted 3 whole minutes and 4 seconds. I didn't miss Nikki Bella. I don't know if anybody misses Nikki Bella to an extent.
I don't know who Nikki Bella is.
She was part of the Bella twins. It was her and her sister
Oh.
Brie. She was very popular. I get why she's in here. She has a lot of mainstream appeal. She's done stuff outside of WWE, like in terms of like TV shows and stuff. So I get why you have her in here. She has that broader mainstream appeal. To the people who like maybe don't watch wrestling, who are like just tuning in and like, oh, it's like a Bella.
Yeah.
I get it. But I will say I was disappointed when she came out at number 30, just because I was like, oh, we could have put anybody else there, but we put Nikki Bella. Again, no shade to Nikki Bella. But yeah. Anyway, we get to like the down to the nitty gritty, and the final 3, because I don't remember who the 4th one was, is Nia Jax, Roxanne Perez, and Charlotte Flair. And then I don't remember how Nia Jax gets eliminated, but she gets eliminated.
Oh, they flip her.
Yeah, they
flip her.
Yeah, they flip her. Yes, they do. They flip her out of the ring, and then Roxanne's like dangling there
On the outside.
on the outside, and then
I did not like that at the end. It looked weird.
yeah, it didn't look like a good, because like obviously Charlotte eliminates
Yeah.
Roxanne, but it didn't look very good. It
The
was like a
kick
weird.
looked weird.
Yeah, it was a weird kick.
And she ended up with her leg over the rope, and it was just like it just looked odd.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, come on.
Yeah. Anyway, that was pretty much the Rumble. she eliminates Roxanne, and Charlotte's going on to WrestleMania. Yay.
Yay. Yeah.
You can see my excitement on my face.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. You know, there's the meme. You know, Charlotte wins. Lol.
Charlotte wins.
know,
lol.
Charlotte comes back, immediately wins. You know, it's a tale as old as time. I think the last time she got injured and came back, she beat Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title. Literally the show she came back. So yeah, Charlotte wins low. Granted, I did talk to like my cousin about that. He's like, yeah, but nobody liked Ronda at that time, so it was okay. I was like, I don't know if that's the right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, I don't think that's the right framing of that, but like, okay. But yeah, I guess it's now a good time to bring this up. WWE, and we'll get to it when we get to the men's as well. Because I think the women's reaction opposed to the men's reaction, it's I don't know if dichotomy is the right word, but the polarizing. Yeah, it's I think there's a reason why this is the way it is, and the men's is similar. But WWE uploaded like the final does it minute and 30 seconds, basically the part where Charlotte wins. And that video right now is currently at 6.9 thousand likes and 30,000 dislikes. So apparently a lot of people did not want it, did not ask for it. Granted, I don't think you can look at that and be like, oh, well, they made the wrong choice. I think they ended up making the right choice in terms of like none of their current female roster people feel big time. Granted, you could say, well, now's your chance to give somebody the win, make them feel big time.
Sure.
But I don't think they want to do that, unfortunately.
If I was someone coming in that had never seen wrestling before and I was just watching it, I wouldn't. The way Charlotte Flair was just entering the ring, doing the stuff, the way it finished, she didn't. I don't know. She didn't look like maybe someone who needed a title shot. I don't know. It wasn't that impressive.
Yeah, it is what it is. Again, I get it. I didn't want it. I didn't want it for a few reasons. I didn't want it because it was Charlotte, and I'm over Charlotte. But I also just didn't want somebody to win it twice this soon.
Yeah,
because the Women's Royal Rumble was only started in 2018. It hasn't been even 10 years yet.
Yeah,
and somebody's already won it twice. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I wish they had given it a little bit more time before they did that.
Well, there's a couple others they could have given it to. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually probably would have been okay with them giving it to Roxanne if they just call an audible. Hey, Charlotte, you're not winning. We're giving it to Roxanne instead. That'd be cool. You build up a new star who's main roster bound anyways. Put them in a main event match at Mania. Main event. It's probably not going to be the main event. It'll probably be,
and it would have
somewhere
been
on the
cooler
card
because she lasted almost the whole Rumble.
Yeah, and like I said, she now holds the record for the longest longest woman in a women's Royal Rumble.
Would have topped it off great if she wanted to.
Yeah, but tis not what happened, and we now have to live with the consequences of our actions.
Another Flair
Of their actions.
Yeah, of their actions. Anyway,
yeah.
Overall, the Women's Royal Rumble, not disappointing to a degree. Not very exciting either. I rated it 3.5 stars.
Yep.
I thought it was very middle of the road. I was sports entertained, but it didn't blow me away.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it did what it was supposed to do, and that was about it. So yeah, 3.5 stars for the Royal Rumble.
Same. I just want to say my favorite part of that whole 1 hour and 20 match was when Piper got lifted.
Oh yes, by Jordan Grace.
Yeah, I thought that's impressive.
Yeah, she's a star,
She's a star.
I hope she goes just straight to the main roster.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the whole match. It's just that this is the most impressive part that I thought, for me at least.
I'd probably give it I don't know, I'm kind of lower than y'all.
Yeah, I think. Well, to be fair, I think 3.5 for me is being generous.
Oh, I gave it a 3.
Oh, okay.
I'd say between 2 and 2.5.
2.5.
2.25. 2. You know what? Screw it. 2. I give it a 2. It was okay.
It's okay.
The wrestling didn't impress too much. There was a couple of moments. And
well, it's one of those things, right? It's we'll get to the men's Rumble and probably I say a little bit. It's probably going to be a while before we get to that point. But you look at the men's and you look at the women's, and it feels like there's a lot more moving parts in the men's, whereas the women's, it's like, hey, we're back from that cut. Hopefully it was good. I didn't do it, and it was our second one. Anyway, I don't even remember where we were on for that. I think we were doing our star ratings.
We're finishing out with the star ratings. I said 2. You said 3.5. You said 3.
I said 3. I'm gonna lower it down to 2.5.
2.5.
2.5, which is half in my metric.
True. That is half.
It's half.
I just
See?
said it was a little less than half. So
Yeah. See, but like, are you counting 0? Because he was counting 0.
0 is a place.
See?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be 0.
He was.
I've watched a couple of 0 matches in WWE and all wrestling, not just WWE.
Well, all right. I don't know. I think to get that low, it has to be actively damaging, and I don't think this damaged anybody. It just didn't further anything.
So is your mid 3? 3.5?
I'd say 3.
Oh, okay. Okay. I get it. Okay. We're probably on the same thinking. It's just
Yeah.
not the 0.
It's just you guys have
It's
different.
halfway different.
starting at a
metrics.
different. Yeah. Whatever.
Same rating, different metrics.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that was the women's.
yeah. Anyway, Charlotte wins low.
Yeah.
And we get on to the 2 out of 3 falls tag team championship match between DIY, the defending WWE tag team champions, I believe. Yes.
And it was the machine gun
Against the Motor City Machine Guns.
Mhm.
There's not much to talk about. This match was actually really short,
It was kind
and I think it's because
It's kind of boring.
the event is just naturally long because you have to do the rumbles. But this match is really short. It was 2 out of 3 falls. I don't think that's enough time to do. 14 minutes is not enough time to tell a 2 out of 3 fall story.
Yeah. 40 minutes is sometimes enough for one fall.
Yeah. I will say this. I wish they had more time because I know that they can do well. And I know if you give them the time, they can put on a banger match. But I think they were under time constraints and it didn't work in their favor.
Mhm.
You know, I've been watching the Motor City Machine Guns since they were in TNA, you know, even like bits and pieces of Ring of Honor. So like I know that they could do good work. And then I've seen the rise and fall of DIY, you know, when they started, when they broke up, when they were feuding, and then they got brought back together weirdly because Vince didn't know that they were feuding at the time. To both of them getting called up to reforming DIY. It's been a really crazy like journey. And I know that they're good as a tag team. And I know for sure the Motor City Machine Guns are good as a tag team. So this match, in theory, should be a banger. But it kind of just falls flat. You know, they're the match that I have like the least amount of notes on. It's, you know, I think this was decent tag team wrestling. There was a really great distraction spot that made sense. You know, I think it's like Tommaso Ciampa goes onto the outside. And then like tries to mess with I think it's Chris Sabin. And then when that fails, he goes into the ring to distract the ref, and then Alex Shelley goes to tag in Chris Sabin. He does, but the referee doesn't see it.
Mhm.
So Alex Shelley is still technically the legal man. And I'm like, that's a good spot.
That's-
It makes sense. You know, that's pretty decent. You know,
It's creative.
there were creative and like fun things. You know, while before we had to cut, you know, Vic was talking about like just how good the actual tag team moves were.
Yeah. Oh my god. The if I were to put this in video game terms, they had a lot of tag team special moves, and I was like, that's pretty good. I was thoroughly enjoyed this match. But you're right, it was a little short.
Yeah.
It was a little
I think
short.
I think you give these guys. I'm not saying you have to give them like 30 minutes, but if you gave them like an extra like 5, like make
Oh,
it
yeah.
20 minutes or something,
Mhm.
I think it would have been a lot better. What else did I write? The rest of my notes are about the stuff that happens at the end.
Oh.
So anyway, so DIY wins the first fall.
Mhm.
Most of the Machine Guns win the second fall, and then the third fall is won by DIY with distraction help. Not really distraction help, but like I don't know. This is the part that was
they got third partied.
yeah, they got third party. It was kind of weird, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense. And like I think a lot of people were trying to.
What was it?
It was the Street Profits coming out
Oh.
and basically hurting Motor City Machine Guns. And like I didn't really know why they were there. And
With crutches.
yeah, with crutches. I don't think any of them were injured either. Or at least not to my knowledge. Maybe one of them was. But yeah, they come out and they basically cost Motor City Machine Guns the titles or the match. And then like
On the way out.
on the way out, they go and they attack DIY.
Yep.
And I'm just like, what? And then it wasn't until like my second rewatch, I think Michael Cole said something along the lines of, it's like, oh, they wanted to cost Motor City Machine Guns the match, but only because they want to be the ones to beat up DIY and take the titles. And I'm like, okay, like I feel like you don't
didn't
have to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems kind of like whatever. But I did write something positive. I was like, I think the Street Profits needed this heel turn because they've gotten kind of stale. They've been babyfaces for a while. They tried going heel, and then Bobby Lashley left. And then they're like, well, I guess we're just not doing the heel stuff anymore. We'll go back to being babyfaces. And like, I think in the long run, this is going to be a good idea to turn them heel. I don't know if they'll win the titles, but like, I think this is the step in the right direction for them because they need a refresher. Every now and then you need a refresher.
Right.
You need to change something up. You can't do the same thing.
Gotta shake it up.
Yeah, unless you're John Cena, you can't like you need to change something up a little bit. You know, you can only do the 5 moves of doom for so long.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that I kind of took away from this is like, I think a Triple Mania, that's AAA. A triple threat match at Mania would be cool.
Oh,
Like, I don't know, put some ladders in there. You know,
Yeah.
that could be fun. You know, I could see where they're going. I don't think this is gonna last until Mania. That's like 2 months away. I feel like if you would try to last it that long, there'd be some filler, and I don't know how well received that would be. This is probably going to culminate at like the Elimination Chamber, or like a SmackDown before Mania starts, or
next
something.
month, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Elimination Chamber is next month. But overall, I didn't think this match was super great in term like the people in it are great, and had they had more time, it could have been great.
Yeah.
But I rated this the same as the Women's Rumble. I was sports entertained, but I didn't think it blew me away like I thought it would. Especially on my second rewatch, because like I said, when I watched it originally, I was just excited to be watching the match, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" And I think I originally gave it like 4 1/4. And then and then after the rewatch, I was like, "Oh man, there's a lot not happening in here." So I dropped it down to 3.5. I think that was the biggest jump that I had. Was it was in the 4s, and then I dropped it down to the 3s. So, yeah, so I gave it 3.5 stars.
Give it 2.5. I didn't getting back into wrestling again, so I didn't know that well. So, like you said, the moves looked great. You know, some of the ring work looked pretty cool, but I just couldn't follow it. Maybe that's why. So I'll give it a 2.5. It was a little more entertaining than the women's.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's
Yeah.
if I knew all of them, it might have been a 3.
I might have been a 3.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give it a 3. I was thoroughly sports entertained. Mostly just by the moves. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think they're the victims of time constraint.
Yeah.
I really think they do, because we'll get into it in a second. But like the ladder match between Cody and Kevin, I thought that went a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll just talk about it right now, because
Yeah. It's next.
Actually, before I say anything, there was a lot of this. This is a personal gripe. There was a lot of downtime in between when the tag match ended and the ladder match started, and they set up one ladder, just one, and it was in the rampway.
It was in the
I thought that was such a waste of time, because it took them like 20 dang minutes from when that match ended to start the next one for the entrances, and they set up one ladder.
Yeah.
Where have we gone?
Yeah.
Where has my wrestling company gone? Back in the day, we used to set up ladders all around the ring. It used to be a ladder fest.
Mhm.
Now you're telling me we have
with
one
ladders
ladder.
They have
under the
to
ring.
manually
We have
take 'em
we have
out.
one ladder, and that was upsetting. I actually found that very annoying. I don't know why. It's such a nothing burger.
Hey, 'cause there were some times where they bring ladders from the back as well. Like, I mean, it was just
I don't know. It irked me. I was like, we had all this time, and it was a bunch of like nonsense too. Like, I think they were showing like Pat McAfee like sports highlights,
Yeah.
and I was like, you're telling me you had time to sit there and make this sports compilation of Pat McAfee, who hasn't been in the NFL for years.
Yeah.
Who, granted, I like him on commentary. I think he's very entertaining. But you set up one ladder. It's such a nothing thing.
Was that same space the one that they had that Slim Jim thing?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, cool.
And you know, they do the obligatory, let's show off all the Hall of Famers that are in the ringside area.
Yeah.
But I was just like, man, you set up one ladder. That was the first note I had.
That was like,
like, they had a
my
lot
part
of
of me
downtime.
was kind of happy I didn't get to catch the whole thing, and I watched it in clips because it was just like,
Yeah, that was the first note I wrote. I was like, they had a lot of downtime between the last match and this one, and they set up
I
one.
had to skip a lot of that. I'm like, okay, cool. Can we just keep going?
Yeah. Anyway, so the match starts. It's Kevin and Cody. You know.
yeah.
I will say this. They probably are selling it. I just haven't seen it. But I really want Kevin Owens' shirt that he was wearing. The Canadian Dream, son of a
Yeah.
security service technician or something like that. I forget what it was called. But I was like, that's such a fun little dig at like Dusty Rhodes and like Cody's dad. I was like, I need that shirt. Anyway, so the match starts, and then like I will say this. I think the match starts off kind of slow, and then it builds up to the good stuff. Another one of my big gripes was they weirdly like have a brawl in the crowd.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
seems very unnecessary
Yeah.
because it's a ladder match.
It didn't
It's like
really
get out of
go
the crowd and
anywhere.
go back to yep.
Yeah, it kind of was just like a thing that
Yeah.
they did, and I was
It's like
like,
a phase.
yeah, it felt like it was one of those things where you did it to like pander to the fans, like,
Mhm.
hey, let's go out to the thing, instead of like having like a storyline reason to like go out that way. I didn't care for
I
it.
thought it was a little
Um,
weird, but whatever.
Yeah, so I wrote brawl outside, and then I wrote, I hope they reimburse the guy for his beer. Because Kevin takes Cody takes the dude's beer and then like throws it in Kevin Owens' face. And I'm like, you know that beer is like $10.
Yep.
I was like, and you just took it from this guy. He probably was enjoying it.
Or it was a plan.
By minding his own
Yeah.
business.
So then that happens, and then they go a little further. And then Kevin Owens takes some random stranger's phone and hits them with the phone, and then gives them back the phone because they were recording. And I was like, that's funny. And then after that,
Let's see that. Let's see that footage.
I
Yeah.
want to see that. I want to see it.
I'm like 90% sure it was a phone because like I think he like throws it back at them.
Yeah.
And then anyway, after that happens, they go and they brawl again. And then this time Kevin hits Cody with the hard cam that the cameraman's catching. And it like dunks. And, like I was like, this is really funny. Yeah.
All they need is a dust cloud.
Yeah. And then one last thing about cameras, and then we'll get off the topic. They had they like made a not a big thing, but they were like, hey, the referee has a camera, and they have the ref cam, you know, so they can show you like the ref's perspective and stuff. They didn't go to that thing once,
No.
and I'm like, why even mention it?
Yeah. that's
It's like
true.
it's like you showed that they have this, and
And
then
then
don't
never
cut to
use it.
Yeah, you never used it.
It's like it's Chekhov's gun, but they never use the gun.
Yeah, it just felt like it felt like a weird thing, like to just do, because it's not the first time that they used it, but it's you didn't use it. You kind of just had it there to like do it.
Yep.
Yeah, so it felt weird, felt odd. That was like my last big gripe. I shouldn't even say like big gripe. It's just something I was like, that's odd.
Like nitpicking.
Yeah, it's like nitpicking. Yeah. I think it's the perfect way of saying it, because like after this, and once they got to the middle, everything got great.
yeah.
Everything was awesome.
Cameron was kind of owning most of that match,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Yeah, so we're not going to recap the whole thing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
bits and pieces and stuff like that. But yeah, there's
Well, I mean, it was a ladder match. I mean,
A lot of ladders being used.
let's say one of the things I wrote down. Kevin takes a nasty bump on the edge of the ladder. This
Yeah.
is the ladder is in like a V position, like on the ground, and then I forget what Cody does, but he like slams Kevin into it, and his back hits like perfectly the
Right.
edge of like the top of the ladder, and
Yeah.
that looked like it hurt a lot. Like it's like the very edge of it.
Well, that happens multiple times, doesn't it?
I don't know about in the match, but like it's happened multiple times, like in other matches. But like I was just like, that looked like it hurt a lot, and I would not want to take that bump. But yeah, so that happened.
Was it when he suplexed him?
No, you're thinking of like a different spot, I think.
Oh.
Well, it might have been when he suplexed him. I just remember he landed like flat on his back. Like if the
Oh.
ladder was like a V, he
Right,
landed
right,
like
right.
legs first into the V.
Right. Well, I think because he also hit his head when
Yeah, he hit his head when he did the thing off the rope, which that
Oh.
also looked. He like ricocheted off of that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a little bit, I think. Actually, that's actually the next thing in my notes, I think. Yeah, because because after that happens, again, we're kind of running through this because we know the men's rumble is going to run long. But that spot happens, and the best commentary I think that Pat McAfee has ever said, the top of his lungs, he goes, he might be dead.
he might be dead.
And I thought that was great commentary by Pat McAfee because it's so dumb,
Yeah.
but like it emphasizes like how gruesome and serious it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happens, and then at this point, Sammy comes out
Yeah.
because he's concerned with his friend, as one would. But Sammy kind of just stands around. He didn't really do much. He doesn't like affect the match or anything. He just checks in. He goes and checks in on Kevin, and then he like goes and checks in on Cody.
On Cody.
And I thought what was going to happen was Kevin was going to see Sammy go to Cody, and he was going to be upset about that.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why are you checking on Cody? You're my best friend."
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like that's Kevin Owens' whole thing, right? Is he's
Right.
very insecure. Like
Mhm.
he's very jealous. He doesn't like that. He feels like he's being betrayed by everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so it's. I don't know if I would have done it that way. I just thought it was really cool. It could have been a really cool character beat.
But to be fair, he also looked like he was out of it when that happened. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Well,
he might not even
Well,
notice.
speaking of being out of it, the next thing that happens after that nasty bump, they go to the outside.
Yeah.
And then I forget how they get to that spot. But Cody like pushes Kevin into the ring post on the outside,
Mhm.
and he just kind of goes in head
Really hard
first.
hit, yeah.
Head first. It's like there's a big loud thud,
Boom.
and then they cut. They don't go to Kevin on the camera. They just stay on Cody, because either he actually hurt himself or
Yeah.
he's cutting himself or blood capsule, whichever one. Anyway, Kevin is bleeding on the outside now, and then this is when they get to basically the big final spot where Kevin Owens is going to try to hit the package pile driver on Cody onto the ladder.
Yeah.
But Cody reverses it into the Alabama Slam. Shout out to Bob Holly.
Well, before the one of the bumps I liked before that was where they had the ladder on the announcer table
Yeah.
across.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
spot.
that's the one,
This is the
that's the one.
spot.
That is right there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Where he fucking.
Because I thought it was. That's right. I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah. So like I said, Cody Kevin goes for the package KO goes for the package pile driver. Jesus, I can't.
Pile driver.
Yeah. And then Cody's like, no, not today. Goes into the Alabama Slam a la Bob Holly. Cody Rhodes' original tag team partner, where he won the tag team titles with
Boom.
Hardcore Holly. Nice little homage back to
Yeah.
2008. And Kevin Owens basically dies.
Yo,
His head goes straight through.
It
Well,
broke
it-
the ladder.
It looked like the head hit the rung, and then hit the ground, and then his body folded over. And all I could think of was like, Kevin Owens isn't a light guy, so that's got to be a lot of pressure.
He's
on his
hurt.
neck. Yeah.
He is hurt
Yeah.
right
He's
now.
got to be pretty dang hurt.
Yeah, Kevin's basically dead at this point. He doesn't move for the rest of the match and even after the match. pretty
I
much.
think they even say Kevin hasn't moved yet.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
oh
anyway,
God.
Cody goes back into the ring. He climbs the ladder and he wins the titles.
Yeah.
The only thing I thought was weird was I don't know if he did it like because he wanted to, or he just thought it would look better. But he basically goes not to the very top, but the like one right below it. And I thought I was like, you're going unnecessarily high for no reason.
Right, yeah.
I was like, you can go to like the second rung, and you can still grab the titles and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like I feel like because when you go up that high,
You're still
one of the
getting-
refs had to come in and like stabilize it.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you just gone one less, they wouldn't have had to do that. I'm not saying it like takes me out of it or anything, but it's like I feel like you didn't necessarily have to go up that high.
Yeah, but you never know what happens in a match, right?
Yeah.
So what if like a bump of a ring or something, and he would have had to end up
Yeah, it's one of
grabbing
the-
onto the
it's
belt
one of
and
those
like,
things.
yeah.
Nitpicky doesn't
Yeah.
matter in the slightest, but it was just something I thought. Anyway, he gets the titles. That's the end of the match.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes wins.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes wins. But I think the more interesting, I don't know if it's even interesting. I doubt they're even going to like bring it up. I hope they do because I think it'd be better character work. Cody Rhodes kind of like gloats.
Oh yeah.
He like gloats about it.
Yeah.
Like the entire time. Like he's about to leave and,
And
then
then he
goes
comes
back
back,
back onto the table where, right in front of where Kevin and Sammy are. And he's basically being like, hey, you chose this. Like this was his choice, talking smack to Kevin and then kind of like saying stuff to Sammy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this seems very out of character for what you're supposed to be. Like you're supposed to be, gung ho, sparkling babyface,
Yeah.
and you're kind of coming off not going heel, but you're having some heelish tendencies.
Well,
Well, maybe
From-
it's because of all the crap that
from-
Kevin's been talking this whole
Well,
lead up to it.
that's the thing I've been seeing is people are like, well, he's not turning heel, but he's showing that babyfaces don't have to be pushovers. It's
Yeah.
like because in reality, people don't like taking shit. They
Yeah.
don't. they don't like being they don't like being pushed over.
Mhm.
So I could see the argument being made of like, well, he's just letting people know, like, hey, I ain't like everybody else. I may be the one that people cheer and all that stuff, but like, I'm not opposed to doing things not necessarily dirty, but getting stuff done in maybe an orthodox way. Would I prefer him to just go full heel and then like fight somebody else later on down the line? Maybe. But like, we'll get there when we get there.
From this is my perspective from somebody who doesn't really know a lot of the stories and the background for a lot of. I thought Cody Rhodes was a good guy the whole time, right? Because even during the match, even the combinators almost said it's like, hey, Kevin Owens has a chance to get the belts, but he's not. He's purposely like trying to hurt Cody Rhodes, and they said it multiple times that he wants to end his career, right? The whole time it's like, well, when they said that, I was like, wow, Kevin Owens kind of seems like the bad guy right here, right? Like, he's not, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? And this is like, I don't know if it's like storytelling 101, but it's the thing that a lot of people say. It's like nobody ever wants to believe that they're the bad guy in their story.
Yeah.
So like in Kevin's eyes, everything he's doing is justified. And honestly, I kind of agree. Because you look at Kevin, this whole thing is like stemming from the bloodline. The bloodline has put Kevin through hell.
Yeah.
He's basically been dealing with the bloodline for like 4 years now. And then the person that Kevin was like basically fighting against the bloodline with was Cody. And then all of a sudden now Cody is like working with Roman Reigns, who was like the sworn enemy. Yeah, I think Kevin is justified in feeling betrayed. Yeah. Now, do I think he had to go super far into it? Like, did he have to like try to end Cody's career? No. I don't think you have to go that far.
It's a little,
have a conversation, but clearly Kevin didn't want to have a conversation. He wanted to take it a little bit further.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's actual justification for Kevin.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful thing. And that's why I think this match is almost brilliant. It's not like phenomenal. It's not like I didn't give it 5 stars, but I gave it 4.5. I thought this was the best match on the card in terms of like storytelling and just how far they were willing to go. I think it would have been 5 stars, maybe, probably not, but like it probably would have been closer had they not done the brawl outside, in the crowd.
Wow.
Just because, like, again, it felt unnecessary. It felt like you kind of just did it to do it.
Yeah.
I'd rather the whole thing just be cohesive and make sense than to do a spot like that. I don't know whose idea that was. I'm not gonna blame anybody for that, but like I just wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I gave it 4.5. I thought it was probably, not probably, it was the best match on the card.
I'll give it a 4.
4 sounds good.
It was a really good match.
4.5. 4 and a quarter.
Yeah, you're allowed quarter stars.
Yeah,
nice.
4. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the final event, the final big granddaddy of them all, before the actual granddaddy of them all at WrestleMania, the Men's Royal Rumble.
The Men's Rumble of the Royal.
Yeah, and quite possibly, according to some people, I'd have to rewatch some of them, but for some people, the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. I don't know if I'd go that far. Again, I would have to rewatch some, but
I'd have to disagree. But yeah, it was pretty good.
I don't know. I think I could be persuaded to agree, but I guess we'll just start from the top. And from the top, entrant number 1 and number 2 were Rey Mysterio and Penta, respectively. So I didn't know who was going to start number 1 and number 2. Because the last 2 years they've done people who have been like feuding.
Yeah.
So like last year it was Jimmy and Jey Uso, and they were like going up against each other. Like, Jimmy had left the bloodline, or Jey had left the bloodline. Jimmy was still in the bloodline, and they kind of didn't like each other. Jimmy cost Jey his championship match at SummerSlam that year. It made sense. I was like, cool. Same thing with the year previous. It was Gunther and Sheamus. They were having their their whole thing where like we're having banger matches, and they had like a really good rivalry. So I was like, okay, well, who's on the roster who has like that sort of heat? And I couldn't think of anybody. And then they brought out Rey. I was like, oh, okay, Rey Mysterio. My head went into a different direction. A lot of people were like, oh, it's going to be Rey, and then it's going to be Penta. That makes sense. My ass went, I was like, okay, well, who does Rey hate? And I was like, oh, it's going to be Rey and Dominic.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna have father and son go at it again for the first like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They went with Penta, and I was like, that's cool. I like Penta. I think Penta had a pretty impressive showing. I actually think he lasted the longest out of any man
I think he did. He
in
lasted,
the Royal.
he
Yeah,
was the
42
longest
minutes and
lasting.
5 seconds. Came in
Yeah.
at number 2. And I thought it was a good showing. I did think that they would hold off on Penta and Ray facing at any point. I still think they'll probably do a match at Mania, but I thought, maybe you'd like hold off a little bit in terms of like them even touching in the ring. But I don't make the bookings, so I don't have those choices. But yeah, I think the first like thing we should talk about, because it was one of the first things that happened. They do the obligatory like, hey, we're gonna tease hitting the ground, but Penta I think hit the ground. Both of his feet did touch the ground. Some people are debating.
I went back and looked at it after we talked about it, and I was like, that was really, really, really.
I can see how it wasn't, because it either both of them hit, or it did, for the people that are watching the video version, it did something like this. Like one of them touched it. It was like a yeah.
Right.
Granted, I think either way, even if it did do that, it's technically still both feet are touching the ground. So, but I don't make the rules. So, but anyway, that happened, and a lot of people, pointed that out. It was one of those things where it's like, it happened. Let's kind of move on. Commentary didn't really bring it a whole lot up either. They were like, oh no, it was one. It's definitely one. Don't question it. It was one. But if you watch Penta stuff, he botches. It's not often, but like it's a thing that he does. Yeah.
Spoiler: he didn't win anyways, so
Yeah, so it didn't matter.
it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
But anyway, after that, Chad Gable comes out, American Made leader.
Oh,
I like that angle because you could. I was bringing it up real quick because I wanted to check it out again because
I just saw it for a second. I'm like,
it was kind of funny, right?
Yeah,
A little bit
so quick.
It looks like he
No,
pushed off the ground. He pushed off the ground to get back up there.
Both feet were on the ground. I can't even defend that. That's straight up.
That right foot definitely went.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
No,
Whatever. It was fun.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It was so fun.
it's his first Royal Rumble. He gets.
I got a kick out of his just the whole match. Whenever he, every time he was with someone new, and looking at him and doing the whole like yeah, and half the time he didn't even get to finish because they hit him. Oh man, it was so great.
Yeah. Cero miedo. Zero
I
fear.
didn't know what that was. Yeah, nice.
Anyway, Chad comes in, which made sense because Chad was Penta's first opponent. So running it back, that's pretty cool. Chad, the only thing I wrote for Chad, I wrote a few. I actually made a lot of notes for Chad, because I think Chad is the most underutilized person on the roster. He hasn't won a singles title ever.
Damn.
And he is one of the greatest wrestlers on the Raw roster. Like, he is the most consistent wrestler that they probably have in terms of like somebody who you could just like. Well, again, they gave him to Penta, for his debut match, because they knew Chad knew what to do.
Mhm.
They knew they could put that faith in Chad to make him look good, or in Chad,
Chad.
Penta,
In Chad.
whatever. They knew Chad can make Penta look good.
He knows how to do his job.
Yeah, basically. But there was one spot, and it was the thing that I wrote. I hope Chad's knees are okay.
Oh yeah,
Because Rey Mysterio just lands clean on them.
yeah.
And I actually got really worried because it
Yeah.
was like right on them.
I saw it first, and then my son was like, "What do you mean? What happened?" And I was like, "Wait!" And I was like, "They got to show," and then we went to a slow mo.
Yeah, they showed it again. I'm like, no, we saw it right.
Yeah,
And it was like, oh,
it was right on his knees, and I was like, that.
it's like that had to have extended backwards
Oh,
just a
100%.
little bit, man. Oh,
Poor
it was funny when he
man.
first came out. That's the first thing Chris said was, "Who's Chad Gable?" I had never heard of. I didn't know the wrestler, so I was just like, "Chad Gable."
Yeah, Chad Gable's the person that he'll be in everything, but he'll never win it. Unfortunately.
Poor Chad.
Yeah,
get you.
I love Chad. I wish they would do more.
Mr. Gable, we hope for the best.
Anyway, number 4, Carmelo. I'm gonna skip through a few
Yeah, you
because
can go. Yeah, go. a couple.
Carmelo Hayes. I wish they do more with him. I
Yeah.
think he's great. Santos Escobar.
Yeah.
Again, he's kind of fallen off. I think they could be using him a little bit better, but he's at this point he kind of just he's fodder. And then we get to Otis.
Ooh,
Otis comes out.
I did not expect a worm from that man.
Otis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually
really
talking
surprised.
about this with my cousin because they did a documentary series on NXT at one
Mhm.
point. It was on the WWE Network. I forget the name of it. But I think it's like a 6-part little mini series that they did. And in that documentary, they are doing recruiting. Like they brought in a crop of talent, basically to see who they would want to sign.
Yeah.
And Otis is in the crop of people that are going to be picked.
Yeah.
So they asked him to like cut a promo, and he never
did.
done pro wrestling in his life, so he kind of just doesn't really know what to do. And then I think it's William Regal. He's like, "Do you have any talents?" And he goes, "I can do the worm," and then he does the worm, and that was enough to get him signed.
That's hilarious. And it was smooth too.
Oh, dude.
When he stopped, and I was like, "What's he gonna do?" And he
And
did
then
it. I
he
was
started
like,
doing, I'm like,
"Wow, you do not weigh what you weigh. What is going on?"
Yeah,
This
Otis-
doesn't work.
I was.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think Otis is ever going to be world champion.
Yeah.
I don't even think he'll be like a mid card title champion. I hope. Give him. I think you can give it to him. He'd be fine. But he's extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
Everything he does, even when they make him look serious, it's very entertaining.
Really likable.
Yeah, he's a very likable guy.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh yeah."
he's the type of guys you will remember.
Clearly, yeah, did. But yeah, Chad actually lifts up Otis for a German suplex.
Yeah.
Again, Chad. Literally, I wrote, Chad lifts Otis for a German suplex. Please give him a title.
Yeah. When he threw him back
Yeah.
for a split second, it seemed like he was stalled in the midair and then slammed him down. And then when he comes up and he's like touching his head, it's like, man, yeah, you got rocked a little bit. That's a big guy landing on you, man.
Yeah. All right, and then after that, I think after that we get to number 7, and I think this was probably the person in this like first chunk who probably had the best showing, and it was Braun Breaker.
Yep.
We've glazed up Braun Breaker multiple times
Oh yeah.
in this podcast when we did our original Survivor Series thing. I glazed him up hard when I did talk about Saturday Night's Main Event. I think Braun Breaker is just that guy. And I was talking to my cousin because my cousin doesn't see it. He's like, I don't really get Braun Breaker. I don't get like what people like about him. And I'm like, oh, I do, and I get why I get why the company likes him. He's super athletic, a decently likable guy, to an extent.
Yeah.
I think he has the full package. I think if there's a guy who you want to be the quintessential WWE superstar, the guy you could probably put the company behind at some point, I think Braun Breaker's that guy. I really do.
I can see it.
Like, I think he needs a little bit more time to get to that point, but I think he will eventually get there. He's a 2-time NXT champion, 2-time Intercontinental champion now. I think he just needs a little bit more time to cook and to be on the main roster before I think he gets those big title shots in the future. But I definitely think he'll get those title shots, and I definitely think he'll make the most of those opportunities. What did I write? But Braun Breaker is a genetic freak. I didn't look it up, but I was gonna make a joke. I was like, Braun Breaker is a genetic freak with Steiner math chance of winning at Sacrifice.
That's hilarious.
It's like 131 point something% chance of winning at Sacrifice.
Yeah.
I love Steiner math, dude. That's one of the greatest promos of all time.
Oh my god.
And then after that, number 8, Akira
Lord.
Tozawa, but it's not Akira Tozawa because Carmelo Hayes gets eliminated by Braun Breaker, and he gets so mad on the way out. He punches Tozawa so hard that he just can't compete.
He knocks him out.
Yeah, I think after all the stuff that happened with Kevin Owens in the match before, I think they're taking precautions on a head injury.
Yes.
So they're like, oh man, well somebody's got to go in, and I Show Speed just happens to be streaming in the back area.
Yeah.
So, clearly it's a planned spot. I think anybody who thinks that he was just did it to do it, I don't think they understand wrestling or how the business works.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you watched the one interview with Triple H, right? He's talking about it, and he's like, yeah, he said, hey, more, you did great. We asked you to take, can you take this? And he's like, yeah. It's like,
yeah.
So I mean, of course it's pre-planned, but I mean,
yeah.
So
anyway, I Show Speed comes out, still streaming, by the way.
Oh yeah,
he's streaming the way over there. Granted, I think the internet was kind of spotty, so it like freezes at certain points, but he pretty much gets to the whole way round.
Yeah.
And yeah, he actually eliminates Otis. Yeah, with the help of Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
And then he celebrates his great. Do you want to say something?
So when that happened, Chris got so mad.
Oh, that he threw out Otis. Yeah. That hurt. I was in the kitchen. I was like, what?
This is like if I Show Speed wins, I'm gonna kill myself.
That's a little extreme.
It's-
But anyway, after he eliminates,
yeah.
what did I just say? He eliminated
Otis.
Otis.
Otis, come
That was
on.
so dumb. That was so
Yeah.
dumb.
So anyway, he eliminates Otis, and then he's like hyped, and he goes
He's
about
like-
it. And as that's going on,
Yeah.
Braun Breaker building up speed because he is a fast mother effer,
Yep.
and then kills ISHO Speed.
He spears him.
Yeah.
And
Spears his soul out of him.
yeah, spears his soul out of him, and it looked like he hit his head pretty hard, like on the impact going down.
Well, I saw the TikTok of it and I stopped, slowed down, I saved the video because I wanted to see when he hits him. His face touches his chest. That's how hard he hit him. It was like a car impact. Yeah. So when he hit him, it was, and I slowed it down, and his head still goes at slow motion.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, did he break it, man? Holy crap!
That was a hard.
And he didn't even hit him in the chest. He was this way, so he hit him from the side. It was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
feel bad.
Anyway, ISHO Speed looks out of it
yeah.
at that point,
To be
And-
fair, right
Yeah.
now.
and then he gets tossed over the top rope onto the outside.
To
Otis,
Otis.
Otis catches him, and granted, Otis is supposed to be the babyface,
Yeah.
but I guess he was salty that ISHO Speed eliminated him, so he just
Yeah.
tosses him over himself onto the
table.
announce table, and then ISHO Speed just like
He's
He
dead.
flips off and then he kicks the chair and then flips
He's
onto the
dead.
floor. Yeah.
He's dead.
yeah, he's 100%. He's just dead.
It was
He's dead.
funny.
Granted, I think that is the best use of one of these like celebrity spots.
Yeah.
I
Just
said,
come in, do your thing, and then leave.
I said the exact same thing. Is if they're willing to get their shit kicked in, I love it. I love it.
Great use of a spot. It also made Braun Breaker look even more of a genetic freak than he already looked. Like,
Yeah.
God, he's so quick, so fast.
And at that point, that in this day and age, right, there were a lot of streamers around.
Yeah.
So they're all recording and it's getting to see and you getting different perspectives and
Yeah. So my note on that was Speed in the Rumble while streaming, then dies.
good notes.
Fair enough.
And then after that, I wrote Otis is petty.
Yeah.
wait, how long did he last?
ISHO Speed lasted
2 minutes?
No, yeah, it was 56 seconds.
Minute? I don't know.
56.
It wasn't long.
It wasn't long.
Yeah, it was 56 seconds. It was not even a minute.
It's great. Oh, well, now he can put on his resume that he fought.
Well, yeah,
in
because
Royal Rumble.
Braun waits till he has his back turned and he's celebrating. It's like that's when he takes off.
All right. And then after that, we get I don't want to say mid card people, but like people that we just kind of we have to fill people. So we get Sheamus,
Sheamus,
Jimmy Uso, and Andrade. And I think the only person I wrote anything for, well, actually, I didn't even write. Oh, actually, no, I did write something, but it was because I was correcting something that was said on the live stream. Because Michael Cole says Sheamus entered number 2 last year, and that was a lie. It was 2023 when that happened. I would know. I was there.
Oh, yeah.
He said he entered number 2 last year. That was a lie. I don't know why that triggered me, but I was like, I'm gonna write this in my notes.
That's funny.
Anyway, Andrade comes out, and then Jacob Fatu enters immediately after, and then
Yeah.
immediately eliminates Andrade.
Yeah.
And I said Jacob Fatu is amazing. The double Samoan drop spot that he did,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
That was
that was
awesome.
actually super insane. And then after that, I wrote Andrade didn't do anything much like Andrade didn't do anything much just like his last year since returning to WWE.
Damn.
No, I will throw him all of the shade because he was like, oh, I'm unhappy in AEW. I'm gonna go to WWE, and they've done f all with him since
Yeah.
returning. Like,
Oof.
sometimes the grass is greener when you stay there, but AEW's not exactly a great spot either. So
Yeah.
to each their own, I guess. At least he's getting paid.
Yeah, at least
No,
he's
Fatu
getting
had
paid.
had quite a good showing when he came out.
Yeah, Jacob
Yeah.
Fatu.
The werewolf.
Yeah, I think he's gonna
And he
be.
lasted a little while too. I mean,
I think he's gonna be a big star. I really do.
Yeah.
I think the way that they're pushing him, they're making him feel like a real threat.
yeah.
We'll get to it in terms of the person who eliminated him because
Yeah.
I did have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But
same.
we'll get to that when we get to that.
Not like the next guy.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Jesus.
This guy.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
It says he lasted 6 seconds, but I think
I think it was 7 or 8.
no, I think on their social medias they've been billing it as 4 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't really matter. He didn't last long. He literally
he waited.
he runs all the way down the ramp.
Oh, that's right.
He waited.
That's
waits
right.
waits
he
for the
waited for a long
perfect
time.
spot, messes up that spot, and then gets
Uh-huh.
eliminated by Penta.
Yep.
And then Ludwig Kaiser just is so salty about it.
Just out of it. He's like,
Yeah. Anyway, after that, we get The Miz.
The Miz, which I did not expect to show up either. I mean,
Yeah, The Miz. He's been there forever.
yeah, he's been there forever. Yeah, that's why I told Grace. I was like, yeah,
I think
he's been there
the
forever.
actual stat is The Miz has the most or the second most accumulated time in the actual Royal Rumble.
Oh,
but
from
I
all
think-
the times.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 hours and something.
dang.
But I think he's only had like 2 eliminations, which is another like stupid stat.
Wow, he's playing like I do.
Very mid character.
The only thing I wrote was, is Miz better than people say? Because like The Miz gets a lot of like crap
He does.
about not being super great and like people not liking him. But like I had my cousin because I was watching it with him. He was like fantasy booking like the people that were still in the Rumble and like him interacting with The Miz or them interacting with The Miz is like, wait, do you like The Miz? Like, do you like The Miz like that? He's like, yeah, dude, he's really good. And I was like, dude, I swore you didn't like The Miz when we were
Yeah.
kids. Like, is this some newfound like knowledge that like you have the secret sauce now? Like, or is it just that? Is it one of those things like now that we're older, we can appreciate the things that because I think that's where I fall in now, where it's like I'm older, I don't hate The Miz like I did when I was a kid because he was just The Miz and everybody had to hate him.
Yeah.
Like, I can appreciate that he's grown as a wrestler, and you know he's earned the respect of the locker room.
Right.
You know, to do what he's doing, and I think he has a place in the locker room now. But yeah, decent showing for The Miz. You know, at the end of the day, is The Miz. He ain't gonna do stuff. But we are at the point where everything got better
For a little bit.
for a little bit because say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry, TNA champion Joe Hendry
Oh god.
Oh, we popped off when
shows
he came out.
shows up in the Royal Rumble at number 15 at the halfway point, coming down with his TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Does his little thing, does his little pose. They don't quite do the camera thing right because you're supposed to, when he does the turn, you're supposed to zoom in on him. They messed it up. To be honest, they probably just didn't know how to do it. You know, I'm sure the people who are working the cameras didn't even know Joe Hendry existed up until that point. But I popped hard. I thought this was like the only thing I think I wrote was I believe in Joe Hendry and so does everyone in Indianapolis. Because he got a big pop. Everybody
He did.
Everybody
was
got it.
singing that song, and when his music hit, everybody was screaming.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry, great. I love him. I still want to put a picture of him right there, like just to have it, you know, because he's right here on my water bottle. But I want a picture just right there. I love Joe Hendry. I think he is great. I think in terms of like just organically getting himself over through like social media and stuff, like
Mhm.
he's great.
Right when I was walking out of the room, that's when he entered, and my son, all I hear as I'm leaving the room is, I just learned about this guy.
Yeah. And I'm like, Joe,
and I was like, who? And then he says Joe Hendry, and I was
Joe
like, oh my
Hendry.
god, I'm missing the entrance.
Yeah. But while it was great, actually, before I get to that, Sheamus also believes in Joe Hendry because he defends Joe Hendry from Jacob Fatu.
Yes.
He's like, hey,
Oh.
why are you doing that for?
Yeah.
He's just here. He's just a good guy. You know, why you hurting him? I was like, and then I think Sheamus ended up making a tweet afterwards, being like, yeah, I believe in Joe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something along that. He
Yes.
tweeted about Joe Hendry, and I was like, that's cool. I like that.
Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus is awesome. I hope Sheamus wins the Intercontinental Championship.
So he
Yeah.
he's
So
been
anyway,
there for a couple of minutes.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. He enters. He does his thing. Kind of just ends up in the corner, getting beat up, and then, from 16 onwards, I think the Rumble actually picks up. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
super, because all the main eventers basically show up. Main eventers, you know, the people that are in the
Or
higher-
have been main to
the higher
yeah,
echelon
yeah.
of the main roster.
Then
and the
Roman
first-
Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns comes in at number 16, and wrecks shop and eliminates Joe Hendry.
He eliminated a few people.
Yeah, but Sheamus,
wasn't
Sheamus
it-
the Miz, and
Yeah.
Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
I think he eliminates the Miz first,
Yeah.
And then
then Sheamus, and then Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
and then Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Because I think Braun spears. They were going for a spear spot,
Yeah.
and Braun got the spear off, but
Yeah.
Roman threw him over.
Roman throw- yeah.
Which, how long did Mr. Braun Breaker last? 22 minutes. Pretty good. 22 minutes for Braun.
Pretty good.
Impressive showing. I loved it. But yeah, so Roman Reigns comes out, wreck shop. I think he ends up doing a stare down with Jacob at some point. I don't really remember. All I wrote down was Roman sucks for eliminating Joe Hendry. should have had more time in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the one thing I hated, was he was in there for like 3 minutes. And this is the top champion. of
Yeah,
a
you
different
brought that up
company.
earlier. Yeah.
This is the top champion of a company that you now are in a partnership with.
Yeah.
And he gets eliminated. Granted, he gets eliminated by the top guy. I'd argue one of the top guys.
Yeah.
But it's 3 minutes. That's nothing.
in my eyes, he is the guy.
Yeah. You know, so I don't know, maybe give him like 10 minutes or something. Like, granted,
let him last till at least the later part of the Rumble. I mean, there are guys who just laid there for 8 minutes while other people were wrestling. It's like you could have just had him hurt in the corner, just getting ring time.
Yeah. I mean, he was already getting beaten up before then in the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah,
Like,
so,
just
like,
have
yeah.
a little bit more of that.
But
Let
yeah.
him do a couple of moves and whatever. Yeah.
but yeah, Roman comes out, does that. 17, Drew McIntyre comes out,
Yep.
and big Scottish man,
I forgot how tall he was.
He was.
And I was like, wow. That's
Well, I think
I
we talked about it too because when he came out, he's like, "Damn, he's taller than Roman Reigns," and Roman Reigns is like
Chris.
6.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4" or something. I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, Drew, big lad, big lad. I don't think I wrote anything for him. I didn't think that.
He just, he threw people around, did some moves.
Obligatory
Eliminated a
big
couple
guy.
Yeah,
people.
he came in.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and I did write Roman versus Fatu, please and thank you, because they did do a spot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is
It was short, but yeah.
which I think is I think from the reports that's the way they want to go. They
What's
want
gonna go next?
they want to do Roman and Fatu at some point.
That'd be a good match.
Maybe in Mania. And then we have Finn Balor come out to new music.
I was like, yeah, that I didn't.
That's not his.
recognize-
Yeah, I guess he changed from his Judgment Day ish version of his old theme. But I think this is the first time that they've done it, and I will say this right now: it's not good.
No.
I don't think it suits his character that well. And it's just, I think overall it's just kind of bad. But I think that's more of a testament of Death Rebel, the people who make the WWE themes. They need to be fired because this isn't just that, but it's not just a Finn problem. Like, there were points in the Women's Royal Rumble where people would come out and be like, "Well, who's that? I don't recognize the song."
You were talking about that earlier. Do they do every music?
Yeah.
So the people don't. Really
Now they
have
haven't done everybody's themes. Like, there's some people who have their themes like
they've
from somebody
they've
else.
Just had it.
yeah,
Oh,
because it used to be Jim Johnston, who's like he did like the Stone Cold theme and
Yeah.
the Undertaker's theme and stuff, like the iconic themes. And then after he stopped doing it, or I think they fired him, I don't remember what happened. They brought in this other group, and they were called CFO Money, CFO or dollar sign.
Yeah.
And everybody loved them because they made banger theme songs. Like, when I think of the prime NXT from when I was like super into it, every single theme song was made by CFO Money. Like, they were the guys. They just had a clue as to music and how the entrance with the music makes the star. Because like your in-ring ability and stuff like that, and your promos, that's a part of it, but the entrance needs to be just as good. It's
Yeah.
the presentation of yourself, and I think they knew how to do that. And then I don't remember why they left. I think they left because there was like problems with like royalties or something like that. They ended up leaving, and then they got Def Rebel. And Def Rebel, since they've come, every now and then they'll come out with somebody will have like a banger theme, but like 9 times out of 10, it's like they make stinkers, dude. Like they make like some of the most generic sounding rock like entrance music that I've ever heard, and it's like not good. And I hope that they I don't want to say that I hope they get fired, but like I hope that
They get better.
they get better, or WWE like smartens up.
It's funny that now that you mentioned, you gave the whole story of that. It's just now I'm thinking in my head. I'm going through every wrestler that I've ever, and like, wow, no wonder that one was unique. This one was unique. That one was unique because it wasn't the current ones that are doing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So all right.
Yeah, that's my little spiel on that.
On the music, yeah.
Because it did. I didn't like Finn's music. I didn't think it suited his character. Anyway, after that we get Shinsuke Nakamura, who also doesn't last very long. He's in there for 3 minutes.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's your United States champ. You've done F all with him since he's won it.
Yeah.
He won it at War Games, and he hadn't done much. I think he's defended it like twice.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. After that, we would eventually get number 20, Jey Uso, and we'll talk about his stuff in a little bit.
Yeah.
But he comes out. Literally, this is the only thing I wrote. I said Jey enters and yeets.
Yeah.
He comes in, does the yeet spots, and
Yeah.
stuff. That's not. that's not anything important. But again, we'll get back to Jey Uso towards the end. Number 21, my favorite wrestler of all time,
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, comes back, and he has his old music from CFO Money,
Yeah.
and it was great. I love it. I love AJ Styles. I still have my TNA gloves back from when I was like 14 that don't fit me anymore.
That's funny.
And I actually tore one of them too because I tried putting it on and the stitching got a little.
Oh.
But I still have them. I want him to sign them one day. I hope I meet him. That'd be great. I want him to sign those. But yeah, I was super excited. AJ, again, favorite wrestler of all time. And then we get to Braun Strowman. And this isn't a slight on Braun. This is more a slight on the booking decision. Because at Saturday Night's main event, Jacob Fatu basically kills him. He like messes him up pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think you should sell that more to make it seem like the beatdown was worth it. Because they did a similar beatdown spot with Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. Love Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins was out for like a month and a half or something like that. He was gone for a while because he was actually injured, but like still, like you sell that.
Yeah.
And it's like I get Braun's big and he's strong, but like
But it made it look like
Yeah, it
was insignificant.
it made it look insignificant and inconsequential. And then to add on to it, Braun Strowman eliminates Jacob Fatu,
Yeah.
which made it even worse. Like I don't know who decided on that, but I feel like that was the wrong move. I think the only person realistically who should have eliminated Jacob Fatu is maybe like Roman Reigns. Or like somebody who has it in for the bloodline.
Right.
Like so like cuz like other than like Braun and Jacob having a match recently, like
Yeah.
it felt like whatever, you know? But then anyway, that was, you know, it is.
That was wrong.
Yeah, I wrote down Braun should still be dead. Feels like it undermines the Fatu angle from Saturday Night's main event. Fatu gets eliminated. Lame. But then, number 23, John Cena comes out. Nobody showed
Yeah,
up.
you
I will
just a
say,
guy
I will say this though.
Yeah.
It popped me. It wouldn't have popped y'all because y'all wouldn't have done. But John Cena comes out, and I wish they had the camera on the entrance ramp a little bit sooner, because as he's walking out, he does the like this, and he like looks at the ground, and that was like a little homage to when he made his return in 2008 and won the Rumble. Because he had like, I think he tore like his what was it? Like, was it a tricep? I forget.
Back then at that time?
Actually, I'll look it up real quick. John Cena injury 2007. Because John was supposed to be out for like, I think like 9 months or something like that. He tore his pectoral muscle.
So back then it was a surprise that he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, because he was supposed to be out because that happened I think in like September of 2007, I think. And he was supposed to be out for like 9 months. He was gonna miss Mania, and he comes back at the Rumble in January
And wins it.
Yeah, and wins it. And nobody knew he was gonna be there. They didn't advertise him or anything. He just shows up. Even the wrestlers didn't know. He just shows up, and it's one of those things. Looking back on it, it's like, oh my God, Cena's here. That's crazy. But at the time, nobody liked Cena, so it's like, oh my God, Cena's here. It's crazy. Wait a minute, we don't like you.
Yeah.
Go away. But anyway, Cena does that. He does the homage. You know, he has his little thing that says the last time is now.
Yeah.
He talks to Stu, being like, hey, this is our last Rumble, Stu. And I'm like, Stu's the GOAT. Cameraman
Yeah.
Stu. And I felt a certain type of way about it. Like, it's so weird because it's the last time.
Yeah.
And like it hits me emotionally a little bit.
When he showed that the last time, and I was like, man, all I could think of was like, man, he got a little skinny.
Yeah, a lot of that's what my friend said.
I was like, man, he dropped some
yeah.
weight from like even the last couple of months where I saw him like in some interviews for like talk shows or like for the movies that he's been doing and stuff. And
Well, I know at the press conference he said after he did his little speech thing, he said he was going to record a movie or he was going to shoot a movie immediately after.
Yeah,
so I don't know
That's
if that's the
probably-
reason.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
That's probably why then.
But anyway, John Cena comes out. He does his little return pose. I thought that was awesome. And then sometime in between. Oh, actually, okay. So this is later, because John Cena comes out, does a little stare down with Roman, and then as the clock ticks down, the next person would be CM Punk. Pepsi Phil comes out.
Chick Magnet Punk.
Yeah, Chick Magnet Punk. comes out, and then they do a triple stare down,
And they wait.
and then
Yeah,
they wait.
they're-
And then,
they're waiting
then John
for the
Cena
name.
kind of looks back and like points like, hey.
There's like, you want to?
Someone else is coming, yeah.
You want to wait?
And then who should it be
Yeah.
but Seth freaking Rollins?
Seth freaking
Which
Rollins.
once Punk came out, I was like, okay, well then surely Seth's next. And then after that, they do their little beat up spots of they punch at each other and all that.
That's at that point there was AJ Styles, Cena, Punk, and Rollins in the match, and I was like, man, it's all the old guys.
A blast
I think-
from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wrote my notes out of order because I was like,
You were very excited.
yeah, because I wrote down a spot that I think happens later, but I wrote down obligatory people who have a problem with each other enter spot.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, so it was Punk, Rollins, and then like Reigns were doing that little spot. And then after that, they after that they do their little demunkle stuff. And then Cena eliminates Braun,
Mm-hmm.
and then he eliminates Finn with the AA. And Braun was clearly meant to catch Finn.
Oh
then
man,
did
that's
it?
what-
Yeah, we talked about it. It's like, oh, he missed his
It's
catch.
like he went like he turned to not give any aid at all.
He
And
almost
then-
seemed like he pushed him. Like they're like,
it didn't seem like a push because he went straight down. It was like no.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to because from what I saw, Braun, I think he was overselling the fact that he got eliminated, and he was like more towards the barricade.
Yeah.
So he wasn't there in enough time to catch him. Now, granted, you could say John should have waited
Yeah.
and then done it, but at the same time, you didn't really get eliminated that hard, Braun.
No.
Like,
Yeah. No.
I
no.
think it was literally just you got tossed.
No,
over.
but I mean, like he, Finn, was Finn right? He got eliminated straight. If you see the video, it's like he was brushing against Braun as he went down. He was right on him.
yeah.
and it just like landed right at his feet. He's like, you could have stuck out a hand, like
Like,
just
at
to
least
catch a
like
little-
cushion
Yeah,
or something,
like,
right?
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
I think Finn's fine though. I haven't checked.
That's
Um,
good. That's good.
But it clearly was a botch because after it happened, you can I don't think you can hear it, but you can visibly see Braun say the F word,
yeah.
Yeah.
clearly indicating that he messed up.
My son turned to me like
Yeah, we were like,
oh my god,
oh,
he fell from high.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, number 26 is Dominic Mysterio, and all I wrote down is Dom still not liked.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
my
coming
god.
out and it was like,
There's a lot of booze.
and all I could think of is why does he look like Eddie Guerrero?
That's the whole point.
Is that the whole
That's
point?
the whole
That is
point.
the whole point. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Like the mustache.
Yeah, it was really
Granted,
irritating.
I've said this. I was like, I actually think Dom looks a lot better with the mullet and the mustache.
Really
That he looks like Eddie Guerrero.
okay.
Because
okay.
before that, I think he just had the mullet and he was like clean shaven. It didn't look good. So I think having the mullet looks a lot better, like with the mustache.
Is he doing that to like, pick at his father?
A little bit?
Oh, okay.
I think.
Or whatever the case. He was in there for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, it's Dom. People like to boo him.
Yeah.
People were happy when he left. It was great. The child.
I forgot. I think it was,
Crowd
I think it was
shit
my
like
cousin who asked. He's like, do you think Dom's gonna be like a big thing? I was like, I think he could get there. I think
maybe mid card.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't know if he'll be
champion.
world champion. Because people like to boo him.
Yeah.
Like people like booing him. Like
Yep.
it's kind of like people like cheering. People like to boo.
Yeah.
They need somebody to boo, and Dom's really easy to boo. So, like I said, give him a mid card title. They'll boo him. I think if he just gets better on the mic, because right now I think he relies on a lot of people. Like I think he relies on the boos to like kind of like
To not have to
rely so much on his
promos,
promo work.
yeah.
But I think if he gets better on the mic and maybe improves a little bit in the ring, I think he could get there. Why not? Anywho, let's see what's that? Yeah, Dom, and then Sami Zayn comes in.
Yeah.
Doesn't last very long either. Kind of felt underwhelming a little bit.
Gets eliminated by.
Jey Uso
Jey
accidentally,
Uso.
yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry.
I hope they play more into that
Yeah, I hope this starts
on like television or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, starting drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's WrestleMania season. We can do a little drama.
Ooh, starting
Yeah.
drama.
So anyway, Sami Zayn comes out, and then Damian Priest follows,
Which was kind of uneventful. He
yeah.
was there for a little bit and kind of.
I mean, he took out.
yeah. But Damian's I don't want to say he's fallen off, but like he doesn't feel as important now that he's not the
Did
champion.
he eliminate anybody?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
eliminated Dominic,
Oh, that's right.
and then
McIntyre.
he eliminated Drew.
That's right.
But there's some spicy details about the Drew's elimination.
Ooh.
We'll get to that once I get to number 30. Anywho, yeah, so Damien comes in, doesn't really do much. And then we get to LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so LA Knight comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
He's not in there very long either.
No.
Does some good moves.
No.
Yeah, he does the.
Yeah.
Hit some things.
Yeah, so, yeah,
No.
does that, starts fighting with Jey Uso. They have a Yeet versus Yeah off.
Is that what they were doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when
when they were punching, it was Yeet and Yeah.
That's right.
That was pretty fun. It's just,
Yeah, it was
it's
fun.
a very simple spot. It is whatever. So, anyway, that happens.
And AJ Styles eliminates him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, eventually.
After a little while.
And then number 30, which I forgot that he announced that he was number 30. It was Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I doubt there's I doubt anybody other than Logan Paul fans like Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Don't sue us, Logan. I will say this though, Logan, you might not like him as a person. He's very good in the ring. Like in terms of being athletic, I think he actually does
Yes.
really well,
Yeah, I can say
and I
that.
can commend him for that.
Yeah.
It's just he's a scumbag and everything else.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, on when we were done watching it and Chris was taking me home, I was like, it's a shame that we knew Logan as a person before we knew him as a wrestler.
Yeah, because
Because that really
there were a couple
colored-
things, right? Like last Rumble, it was amazing.
Yeah.
He had one of the coolest.
Oh, dude,
things last
the
Rumble.
mid
jumping off-
collision.
Yeah.
And then this one when he jumped from the ring to the announcer's table, I was like, that's all right.
Or flipping inside the ring and doing the double clothesline. Like,
It-
I mean, you know,
it was
moves
like-
like that, athleticism.
I was like,
I'll give it to
that's
him. Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's too bad we know
Just
how
don't
he
like
is.
him outside the ring, yeah.
All right, so that's all 30. I don't remember if any of this stuff is in order, so I'm just gonna go in the order that I think I
You
remember them. in.
remember it? Yeah.
So anyway, well, I guess we'll start with the thing that I was talking about, which was Drew was eliminated by Damian Priest.
He's throwing him over, right?
Yeah, he threw him over. Apparently Drew wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah.
And apparently a lot of people were not very happy either.
Yeah.
I literally wrote, feels like Drew's elimination was an afterthought because and this is the thing that happened, right? Logan comes in, he does his little thing with LA Knight. And then as they're continuing to brawl, there's not a focus on Drew, and then Drew gets eliminated. There's not a focus on Drew, and there's a lot of people on the roster that are very protective of how they look.
Yeah.
And the fact that Drew looked like an afterthought didn't resonate well
Yeah.
with him and as well as with some other people. So apparently there's a lot of heat on either LA Knight or Logan. I don't know if a lot of heat, but there's heat on them. Because apparently, according to I think it was Drew, might have been somebody else. People were more concerned with getting their spots in than focusing
Winning,
on
yeah.
the stories that were being told. And fair,
Fair.
it's a multi-person match. I think you need to know your spots and you need to know how to time your spots correctly and don't overdo your spots. It's important to make yourself look good, but don't overdo it. You got to make everybody else look just as good.
Speaking of being eliminated, who was the one that threw all the crap off the announcer table and threw the chair in the ring?
Oh, that was
and-
Jacob. Fatu.
That was
Jacob.
Fatu,
Yeah,
right?
Fatu,
Oh,
yeah.
man, it looked like he
Oh, yeah,
was
'cause he was-
really mad.
It was-
I know it's probably selling it,
This
but
is-
I mean, like,
yeah.
it-
As the
Yeah,
world,
but he
you know?
threw that chair, and it went perfectly straight into the ropes.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's talent right there.
when he did that, I said, "Oh, the chair's gonna win the Royal Rumble." And then it immediately cuts to one of the ring people, taking it out. I was like,
I was like,
yeah.
oh.
Is that legal now? It's a rolling chair inside the ring.
Yeah. Anyway, Anyway, sometime after Drew gets eliminated, everybody starts attacking Logan Paul. Logan Paul somehow ends up in the corner, and everybody takes turns stomping him on the ground.
Oh,
Oh
they're
my
moving
God.
each other. It was Styles and Punk, and Styles.
yeah,
and-
yeah. It goes Styles and Punk, and then no, it was Styles and
and
Rollins,
Oh,
and then I think it was Rollins and Punk
yeah.
because
Okay.
Punk I think was the last one to do it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, deserved.
Yep.
Nobody. And then again, sometime in between all this, Punk gives a GTS to Logan, and I just wrote GTS to Logan deserved.
Yes. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
Right after that, wasn't Punk eliminate Seth right after that?
No. So after that, sometime in between, I don't know what happens in between, but they do a shot of Seth's in the foreground and Roman's in the background.
Oh,
And they do this really great focusing shot
Yeah.
where it goes into focus
Yeah.
on Seth and then it goes into focus on Roman.
Roman, yeah.
To like show like where they stand, and I was just, that's so great.
Yeah.
Like that's a nice little like camera effect to like show like, hey, these people have beef with each other. That stretches like almost 10 years now.
So, just a little tangent in between. Because I was watching this mostly with Chris, because you were kind of going in and out sometimes. He said, "Wow, why does Roman Reigns look like the Chad meme?" Because he has
when he was behind,
he has a very
specific
square
jawline.
jawline. I'm like, he really looks like the Chad meme.
Yep.
Yeah.
And why does he have a permanent mewing face?
Yeah, he was like, he's mewing.
He's mewing. Every time Roman came home, Chris was like, he's mewing. He's mewing. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, after they do that cool little shot, they try to throw each other over the ropes.
Yeah.
And who should come in and eliminate them both? But Mr. CM Punk eliminates both. Big pop for the crowd.
It was great.
Everybody loved it. It
Yeah.
furthers their stories between each other.
Yeah.
But then who should eliminate CM Punk other than Logan Paul? And everybody booed it, including myself.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think this is as egregious as the Joe Hendry thing. I was actually more upset about that, but this is just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not a fan of this at all. But actually,
Like there was no reason to have Logan eliminate CM.
actually, I did write some more notes. In the middle of before they both get eliminated, Rollins and Roman are like screaming at each other, and I wrote one of the dialogue that Seth was saying. He's like, "Don't put your finger on me," and then Roman proceeds to put his finger on him. I was like, "This is kind of funny." I don't know. It's such like childhood, like child like beefing. It's so dumb.
But then after they get eliminated, don't they have a fight outside?
Yeah, that's the next thing. I was like, they have like their little brawl on the outside. Seth like stomps Roman twice, once into the ground, and then the second time on the steps.
Yeah.
And then after that, Seth and Punk have their little spat.
Yeah.
And the only thing I wrote down there is Seth kind of had the crazy eyes.
Yeah.
Seth look was like, well, he's got to look deranged. Like,
yeah.
and I think that's where they're wanting to go with Seth is like he's like so consumed with his
With
hate
his hate.
of both of these people
Yeah.
that he's just gonna let it like consume him, which is interesting. It's an interesting little story that they could tell. But anyway, yeah. So they get eliminated, and we get down to the final three, which is Logan, Jay, and John Cena.
We're talking about there's only 2 people on that stage.
Anywho, I don't remember how Logan got eliminated. I really don't. I think he just gets thrown over by John Cena. Or he might have gotten super kicked by Jay. I don't remember. I really don't.
I think John Cena was the one that pushed him off.
Yeah, it might have been John. It
He
doesn't
pushed him
matter.
off while he was on the outside
Yeah.
of the ring, remember?
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Anyway, Logan gets eliminated. Everybody cheered.
It was great. Yes.
And then we get to the final two. And the final two, I don't want to say has controversy, but it seems very, I don't even want to say it's 50-50 because I don't feel like it's that divided. I feel like I've started to see a little bit more lean towards Jay. So I'd say it's probably like more 60-40. But it gets down to John and Jay. And, they do their,
Both Jays.
yeah, they do their little fight. It spills out over the top rope. And then John picks up Jay. He's going to do the attitude adjustment onto the floor, much like he did with Finn Balor early in the match. But Jay kind of saves himself, goes over the rope back into the ring, and then pushes John Cena off. John Cena's feet hit the floor, and Jay is your winner of the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And it seems like you either like it or you don't.
Yep.
Yep.
I think some people here have the opinion it wasn't very great.
No, it wasn't.
I'm of the opinion is I get it from a business standpoint why you do it.
I get it from a business standpoint. What I don't get is this is John Cena's last Royal Rumble, and you don't let him hit his signature move on anyone the entire time.
It wasn't that he lost.
And, if he had done it once,
If he had done it,
like,
just
every
once.
time he got someone up, they fell off. He got hit again. He got, it's like you build up this entire thing, and then
you never hit it.
you never hit it. He gets kicked and doesn't fall off. He catches himself. So I was like, that's got to be it. John's
like,
got to
just-
win
just-
because this is it. He picks him up, and as soon as he slides on the inside of the ring, I was like, oh my God, they're going to, and he pushes him off like nothing. And it was like, oh, come on. You held on from a kick to the face, but you couldn't hold on when someone pushed you off, and it wasn't a hard push either. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of bothered me a little bit, but I get where they're going with it. You know,
Yeah. So I'm mixed. When I watched it the first time, I was dumbfounded. I was like, my jaw literally dropped, and it was like open for about a minute because I couldn't fathom the idea of them giving it to Jay.
yeah,
I
same.
just couldn't. Like, out of everybody who I thought they would have given it to, he was probably like 5th or 6th. Like, he was pretty far down on the list of people I thought should have it, you know.
who was going to end up fighting at
Yeah.
WrestleMania? Yeah, yeah,
And again, from the business standpoint, I get it. Jay is probably one of the most over guys in the company. Everybody loves to do the yeet. He
Yeah.
sells merch like crazy. He's got the entrance where he comes in through the crowd and everybody's rushing him, and you know, he to a degree feels big time. You know, unfortunately, that doesn't translate super well in the ring.
yeah.
And I'm not saying everything has to be about the in-ring work.
The popularity on the
Yeah.
outside of the ring versus
Yeah, I think you can be the popular guy and maybe not be the, you know, I think another great example is LA Knight. You know, LA Knight, everyone else is doing the everyone likes cheering LA Knight, you know. People like that. I don't think he's like the greatest in the ring, but you know,
Yeah.
he's super popular. And there's something to that, you know, being super popular. And I think the story that they've been telling with Jay of like he was in the bloodline, he's not in the bloodline, he's been trying to do it on his own, trying to prove himself. It, you know, inherently it's a good story. And I can see why again they want to go maybe with Jay. My problem isn't necessarily that Jay won. And I think more people would be inclined to agree with it. It's not necessarily that Jay won, it's who he eliminated.
Yeah.
If you put Logan in the spot where John is, I think people are more receptive of Jay winning.
Yeah.
But because he eliminates Cena,
Yeah.
I think he's going to get a little bit more flack than that. You know, I brought up the video with Charlotte and showing how much of a difference there is in terms of like how general viewership
Yeah.
likes and dislikes. I pulled up Jay's. Jay's right now is at 19,000 likes and 36,000 dislikes,
Yeah.
which isn't as bad as Charlotte's like 6 and almost 30.
Yeah. But almost
know.
double the dislikes as
Yeah.
likes, you know.
Yeah. So I think if you put anybody else in that spot where John is, you don't get this. But I also think that there is a part of the internet wrestling community that cares more about the match, the actual like matches that people put on, not necessarily the character work, that look at Jay, especially look at Jay's Mania match last year with his brother, which I'm not going to argue was a stinker. You know, it was this thing that could have been built up properly that wasn't. And then this thing that could have been a real blood feud between two brothers, you know, one stayed with the bloodline, cost the other brother pretty much everything to where he had to leave the family. You can tell a really great story, and the match just fell flat.
Yeah.
One, because it didn't get enough time, and two, there wasn't a whole lot of heat.
Yeah.
You know, and like again, no offense to Jay, I think he can get to where he needs to be, but he doesn't feel main event as being portrayed as main event Jay Uso.
Yeah.
Do I think you can get there? Absolutely. I think Jay, given enough time and enough, you know, given enough time to work, he can. You can
enough
make
time,
him,
enough opportunity, enough.
you can get him to that point of facing Gunther at Mania, because that's clearly where they're going. They, you know, him and Gunther at Mania, they're going to run it back from Saturday Night's main event. Now, do I think you needed to have him win the Rumble to get to that point? No. If I had to redo everything, you can keep these two people in there, but you have John Cena win, so he wins the Rumble.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're even though he lost the Rumble, from what people are reporting, it seems like they really want to do John versus Cody. So they're going to get to that point anyway.
Yeah.
You have John win the Rumble. He goes and he picks, you know, Cody fight at Mania. You can use the stuff that was kind of teased here where like, hey, Cody seems like he's getting a little arrogant, getting a little full of himself, you know. Not saying turn him heel, but being like, hey, John, I'm like how you were, but I'm like better. You know, the people have always been by my side. They've hated you for a little bit. You know, now they love you because you're back. Stuff like that. You can tell stories like that. So John wins the Rumble. in my little fantasy booking. John wins the Rumble here. You have Jey Uso win a number one contender's elimination chamber match, because Gunther's whole thing is, you're not main event. You're not on my level. You're not on the level of anybody. I've beaten you multiple times before. You can't hang with me. So what does Jey do? Jey qualifies for the elimination chamber. One of the most brutal matches in WWE history.
Yeah.
You put him in there with 6 other main eventers. You have him eliminate half of them. All of a sudden, in one match, you've made Jey feel big time. I'm not saying he doesn't feel big time here, but
True.
a Royal Rumble, it's there's
Right.
there's 29 other guys, and like most of them were gone by the time he got in there.
The elimination has more gravitas.
Yeah, there's more. Yeah, I don't know if gravitas is the word, but it's more hard hitting. The whole point of this match is you go over the top rope.
Right,
You go into the elimination chamber. It's a giant cage of steel,
yeah.
and like they make it up to be this like big thing, like basically like Hell in a Cell. It's like, hey, people go in here and they don't leave the same. You put your body on the line. You do this. I feel like that's a better, maybe not a better story, but it's a more compelling story of like, hey, Jey is willing to put his body on the line to prove that he is main event, that he can be the champion. You have him win there. You go to Mania and you have him win there, because eventually, here, regardless of him winning the Rumble here or him doing my fantasy booking, it's all going to culminate with him winning the match at Mania. He's not going to not win the title at Mania. That's clearly the way that they're going. They're going to put the title on him, and it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Again, this is just how I would do it. I don't necessarily think it's the right choice. I don't think it's a terrible choice. It's just how I probably would have done things.
Yeah.
Because what's probably going to happen is John's going to enter the elimination chamber. He might win that, but like I also don't even know if he's going to do that. I feel like the story that they're trying to tell with John is it's his last year.
Yeah.
And I think they want to show the struggle to getting to 17. So I don't even know if he's going to win the elimination chamber. He's already qualified for it. He's already announced that he's going to be in it.
Yeah.
Does he win that and then he faces Cody, or does he
Do
miss
something
it?
else,
Yeah.
and then
Because you can also tell the story of, is John even going to make it to WrestleMania? Is he even going to have anything to do at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Like, it's his last year, but if he doesn't have a way to get on the Mania card, that's also a compelling story. It's a story he's told before, but like, it means more now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want to undermine Jey and him winning, because I don't know if there's anybody else who, in terms of like somebody who's put the work in to get the people behind him and to have it matter, because there have been so many times when we've been I say we, but like the crowd has been behind somebody and they want them to be the guy to succeed and do well and be the champion,
and they don't push
and
it
they
forward.
don't
Yep.
they don't push it. I remember, regardless of what some people will tell you, Daniel Bryan was not supposed to be the guy, but we forced their hand.
Yeah.
And they did it. That was the one time I think we actually won. But there's been a lot of other people, Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, who we've been behind, and the people in charge don't see it, or they don't want to.
It ends up being a missed opportunity for that person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
so I look at Jey, and I've seen the sentiment where it's like, if you're the person who's been wanting these people to get the opportunity, and now somebody who's the people are behind is getting that opportunity, but you're mad about it,
yeah.
it seems kind of fickle. And on that end, I understand that, because like, do I think Jey should have won? I don't know. Like, luckily I don't have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
Am I mad that he did? No, because at the end of the day, he's gonna get a title match at Mania. I don't know if he wasn't on this like trajectory of life, would he be in this situation?
Yeah.
He might still be tagging with his brother. I don't know. So I'm happy for Jey. I wish him the best. Obviously he's gonna win at Mania, but I can't help but feel a little sad for John. And again, that's me being 10-year-old me who wasn't like loved John Cena.
Right.
So I was sad. I slept on it. Realized it's probably just what's best. We're probably going to end up at the same point in the future anyways. So like, who really cares?
All roads lead to the same direction.
With that, what's your star rating?
On the Royal Rumble, I gave it 4 stars. I thought the last second half was pretty much great the entire time.
Yeah.
I thought the first half, not that it was bad, it just wasn't as exciting
Very
as
slow.
the second half. But I think overall as a match, compared to the women's one, this at least furthered some stories.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the women's one didn't really do much of anything. It was kind of just a thing that happened. Was it entertaining? Sure. But it didn't further anybody's story other than like, well, now Charlotte has a way to get to a championship match at Mania. Whereas like the men's, it's like, well, what's Punk and Seth and Roman? What's that going to look like?
Yeah.
Now you have Jay to look forward to. John, how's he going to get to a championship match? Is he ever going to get 17? There's more layers to the men's and things that make you think it's like, oh man, I want to tune in on Monday, to watch Raw.
Yeah,
or
see
I want
what's
to tune
gonna
in
happen,
on
yeah.
Friday to see SmackDown.
Yeah.
They're doing that, and it felt like the women's just, while it was entertaining,
Yeah.
it didn't do
It
anything.
didn't do anything.
It didn't advance anybody's stories. It didn't make anybody feel more big time than they already were. I thought it was fine.
I give it a 3.5. 3.5. I would have given it a 4 if one of the other cool moments of the match, when John picked up the two people on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to happen. It was
Yeah.
like, oh
And
my
then
God.
it
If that
never
happened,
did.
I probably would have said 4. I'd have been happy. I wouldn't have cared that he lost. That would have made the match for me. It was great. Other than that, I thought it was a really interesting, fun, had a lot of cool little spots. Had some funny spots. Penta was hilarious. I had never seen him wrestle or do anything before. That was my first time seeing him.
Well, you can catch them almost every week on Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
Nice. Good
Little
selling point there.
Good little promotion.
We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored.
Yeah, fly us out to WrestleMania trips. We'll do good business.
Yeah.
Yeah, we to be fair, our War Games video
Yeah.
has been our most viewed video.
Yeah.
Yeet.
Yeah, yeet.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But yeah, Vic, what about you? What's your star rating?
I'll give it a 4.
nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I was thoroughly sports entertained.
Nice. Cool.
I think overall, the actual event as a whole is probably like a 4.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 3.5, 4.
I say 3.5. I go 3.5. But
3.5. 3.5 is
I think the first half is very slow.
Yeah.
But once you get to the ladder match and then the men's Royal Rumble, it picks up.
Yeah.
So, and it's one of those things that what's the saying? It's not how you
start.
It's not how you start, but it's how you leave them or something like that.
Yeah.
So
something like that.
yeah,
Something like that.
I was left very sports entertained. So, anywho,
With that,
with that,
insert music here.
it's pack opening time,
Ba-da-ba-ba-da.
and we didn't have regular packs, so I had to
Might
buy
use
this
it.
box. This box has 4 packs, and since Vic is in dead last, we're gonna give him 2.
Ooh, don't you love
He
handicaps?
gets a handicap.
Yeah,
Wow. That's
this box is super
Oh.
hard to get open.
And when Ruben brought that the other day, I saw the box and I said Soaring Moon. And I was like, wait a minute, there's no packs called Soaring Moon. Ruben immediately looked at me like I was an idiot.
Idiot. Stupid.
All right, so I got a Roaring Moon EX, Brute Bonnet, and there's a code card in here. We'll have to remember to take that out and put that on the thing.
Cool. So there'll be 4 code cards for a
And
card if you want.
Giant
Ooh.
card.
Wait, you put some here.
Yeah, we can put
Yeah.
I can
And
go
we
with
got 4
my
packs.
go with the Gengar and the other ones we have.
Ooh, we actually have 2 Paradox Rift, an Obsidian Flames, and a Paladin Evolved.
Oh, nice.
So we have options. That's great.
Yeah.
And I rolled a 3.
5.
6.
Ooh.
All right, so John gets to pick. So John, you want one of the singles or you want one of the doubles?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Decisions.
Yeah, it is decision. Let's see.
It's thinking very hard. Pick some Obsidian Flames.
It is very hard.
All right. Now Vic gets to pick 2, so he can either do 1 and 1 or just take the doubles of the Paradox Rift.
I was debating taking a Paradox Rift, so he can't take them both.
Vic's weighing his
Yeah,
packs
weighing
to
them
make
pa-
sure.
Man, get some good. One day I'll learn to open a pack.
This feels heavier.
Oh wow, really?
It actually does.
All right.
I don't know, like feel it.
Code card.
I don't think so.
Does it not?
Maybe this one compared to that one. But like,
Yeah. I'm going crazy.
all right. So Vic's opted to do 1 and 1. And I'm stuck with Paradox Rift. Anyway, guys, code cards will probably be somewhere right here next to Joe Hendry's head. You can claim the code cards for whatever you like
I
on
do that every time.
Trade Card Game Live.
I do these normally, right?
There's no card trick. I got Darkness Energy. And we will wait.
Ooh.
Now, do you want to open both, or do you want to just wait? You want to do one and one? All right, so John.
Why don't you open
Oh,
one
sorry,
first? Why don't you go first? I'll let
Yeah,
you
you
go
have two.
You have one, then we'll go with me, Ruben, and you. You know, and you end up first and last.
True,
There you
true,
go. You go first
true,
and last.
true. I'll go first and last.
Yeah.
Ooh, fighting. Okay. We go this one first because I opened it first. Jigglypuff, Tadbulb, Girafarig.
Yep.
Great Ball, Tinkatuff, Palmo, right?
Yeah, Pomo.
Palmo.
Yeah.
Gotharita,
Mhm.
Tropius, Bravery Charm, and Glimmer.
Glimora.
Glimmer.
Glimmer. What the hell? I don't know what a glimmer is.
Glimmer.
Yeah, so far, Vic.
Chimera,
Vic
glimmer.
hadn't moved.
All right, let's go with Shuckle, Bisharp, Magneton, Tempo, Tempo,
Sad. If both of you
Houndoom,
get hits.
Brassius, Magnezone, Tadbulb, Ninetales, and Palmont GX.
Damn, John got 2 hits.
Yep, Ninetales, right? Yep.
Wow.
Woo woo.
To be fair, he picked first, so it didn't matter.
I know. I know.
All right, so John's now at 5. That's crazy. Oh, it's my turn. I forgot.
Yeah. I first and last.
All
Since
right, I got
two.
Gimme Goal, Wiglet, Jirachi.
Jirachi.
I like saying Jirachi.
Yeah.
Jirachi.
Parasol Lady, Crobat, Rourke, Steenie, Vanillix. Oh my god. I got an Aegislash.
Oh,
I got a hit. And Zekrom. I'm going to laugh if Vic does not get a hit. All right. Cool. All right, Vic.
nice.
Last chance.
Phoebus.
Yeah.
Mantike.
Mm-hmm.
Gabite.
Mm-hmm.
Minun.
Yep.
Curse Duster. Orbeetle. Cloth. Porygon Z. Surskit. And Tapu Koko.
And Vic's
EX.
officially on the board.
Very nice.
With one.
Let's go.
Dang, so we out of 4 packs, we got 3 of them were hits.
You know what's hilarious?
No, he didn't get one on the first pack.
No.
Oh,
We've had
no,
4
no.
hits in total, but out of
Well,
3
about
packs.
3
You know what's hilarious? I was going to get the Salamence I gave you because I like Salamence. But I was like,
So the problem with that is that it's not Salamence. That's Roaring Moon.
no, on the, like on the picture in the front.
It's Roaring
It looked like Salamence.
That's the reason. That's the point.
Yeah.
Paradox Rift. And Aegislash. So, Vic's officially on the board.
Are these the regular ones?
Yeah, those are regular ones. So it is now 5, 1, and 4.
Yep.
That's crazy. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. This is one of the longer ones we've done.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be over 2 hours. What?
The stuff so you can take it out.
Yeah.
What stuff? Oh, this?
We'll get them.
No,
We'll get them in a minute.
Yeah, what the hell? Don't worry about it. Anywho,
Yep.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell us what you thought. What were your thoughts on the Rumble?
What was your favorite match?
What was your favorite match? What's your thoughts on Jay winning? Seems like some people have opinions.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, just like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
So with that, this has been Ruben.
I'm big.
And I've been John.
We will see y'all later.
Bye.
Peace.